Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to My Crippled Friend, episode number 7, lucky number 7. We are back here in the studio with the sometimes lovely Karah Behrend.
Behrend, yeah.
Yeah, I said it right.
Yay.
It's actually just Bernie or Care Bear
Yeah.
or Special K.
Or what is it? Blue Bomber. Blue is what Aaron calls me.
Oh, Blue. Well, we can't
Yeah.
call you Blue anymore.
No, I'm pink.
Oh, you're rocking the pink pony.
Yeah, I just changed it. Little change for like the 3 months in between rugby seasons.
Yeah. This is kind of a cool episode because I actually woke up kind of early this morning and drove my ass up to Seattle to go pick up Karah. She was over at the what are they calling it? Joint Base Lewis McChord.
Yep.
It was Fort Lewis when I was a kid, but yeah, she was up there with her boyfriend Andrew. Shout out to Andrew. Thank you for letting me borrow your girl for the day.
Hey, babe.
But yeah, he's actually up there at Warrior Transition Battalion.
Yep.
And you know what's cool? And I was thinking about this when I was taking a piss earlier. I was like, I never got that experience, so I don't know what all that entails. What does he do 9 to 5?
So he has a formation at like 6:30 for PT, and then they PT together for an hour at the adaptive gym that they have. So like today, I went out with them and we did wheelchair basketball for an hour.
Nice.
And they form up and do their little formation and fall out. And then he goes to appointments all day. If he doesn't have appointments, then he works on like school stuff. So he's trying to take some classes and clap out of some stuff while he's up there. They do a lot of like job searching, resume building, and then they have a formation at 1500, and then you're done for the day.
And the point of this battalion is to help those that are getting med-sept, right?
So there's a lot of different people. So a lot of people, especially out of Fort Lewis, will return to duty. So for them, it's getting them through those medical processes and really giving them the time to heal outside of the normal structured unit where you're working and you're healing at the same time. This is really just a healing kind of thing. So for those guys, it helps them return to duty faster most of the time. And for the guys that are getting med-sept and retired, it's that transition place for them.
Right on. This isn't your first time in the Northwest, right?
No, I've been up here a couple times, just my first time in Oregon.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. How'd you like that drive? It's only about a 2.5 hour drive, but
yeah, it was beautiful, dude.
It's just a lot of like greenery and just nice curvy roads. You don't really get too bored because when you get outside of like the major cities in Texas, it's just like a flat road and you barely have to touch your steering wheel.
Well, so I was telling you all the games that I play. Like, I'll see people arguing in the car, and I'll sit there to myself and like try and figure out what they're arguing about. Or
we didn't play any road trip games.
I know. I was telling you some of them.
We should have played I like playing the ABC game.
Let's do that on the way back up.
Yeah, yeah. I gotta drive her. I gotta drive her ass home tomorrow at some point.
Tim loves me so much.
I was thinking maybe tomorrow, if we have time, we should stop by and do some food carts. That's kind of like a Portland little staple. Yeah. Yeah, we have all these little food cart pods, and it's kind of a cool place to take like a girl on a date because there'll be just a variety of food, so you don't have to decide on anything.
Yeah, there's no like,
you know what?
I don't know. It's like, here's $20, go get something. I'll see you in 20 minutes.
I'm gonna go get a Philly cheesesteak, and you can go get whatever you want, and we'll just meet here later and eat.
Exactly. Yeah, that's perfect. After we get back up to JBLM, you're saying you missed the DFAC. I'll take you over to the DFAC.
What's that?
You want to go to the DFAC?
For what now?
For when we get back up to JBLM tomorrow.
Why would I need to go to the DFAC?
Because you said you missed it. You missed that variety.
Yeah. I should take advantage of the commissary while I'm up there, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe pick up some... my mom always has me, like, pick up... We always go in there and we always buy, like, a shit ton of, like, ribeye and New York steak and shit, and we just throw it in a cooler.
That sounds really good.
Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I won't. I don't know. It's kind of rainy.
Yeah.
If it was sunnier... That's the thing about the Northwest is, like, we can always, like... the weather can just be, like, hit or miss, you know? So
it was beautiful last weekend.
So I know you live in Texas now. But you didn't grow up there, right? You kind of just grew up all over.
Yeah.
Where would you claim home? Like, what's your home state? Or do you not have one?
I have two. I spent a lot of time in Guilford, Connecticut. So there's a lot of people that I really, consider family from there. And then I spent a lot of time in Bradenton, Florida.
Okay, where's that
at? South of Tampa, 30 minutes south of Tampa.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Did you go to high school down there? Or?
I did.
How was that?
Oh.
I always hear stories about Florida high school.
So I was shell-shocked. So I went from Guilford, Connecticut with we had maybe 300 people in the whole school to Bradenton, Florida, one of 7 high schools in the town, and we still had 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And I went from knowing everybody, their mother, and everything to I don't know any of you.
Was it pretty diverse?
Yes.
Yeah, it seems kind of like an all-American school where Friday nights was for football. And
My school colors were red, white, and blue.
Oh yeah, what was the mascot?
The manatees.
No way.
And it was a hurricane, so we were the MHS manatee hurricanes.
So was your little mascot that was cheering at the pep rallies, was he a hurricane or was he a big old manatee?
He was neither. We didn't have one. We didn't have a mascot, dude.
I feel like you guys missed out on an awesome opportunity. Did you do any sports in school?
I was a cheerleader.
Were you?
Yeah, don't tell anybody.
I can see that.
Shh, don't tell them.
But that was it.
I played volleyball.
No softball or anything? Seemed like a slugger.
Not with a team. I just play with my friends. I played outside a lot, so we were always throwing balls and stuff like that.
Did you ever see any alligators?
Not that I wasn't supposed to.
Okay. Because I always wondered about that. You always hear stories about people just driving on the road and
you need to see one coming out of nowhere.
Yeah. Or you pull over on the side to take a leak and there's an alligator on up in the ditch.
No, funny enough, the principal that came in my freshman year up in Connecticut was from the same area in Florida I was from. And he came in with this glory story about how he fought this alligator that was trying to get into the school. That was his that was his glory moment coming into our school, is that he fought an alligator. And we're all yeah, pretty sure that didn't happen.
Was he Steve Irwin?
He might have eaten Steve Irwin.
That's pretty morbid. So anyways, I wanted to get you on the show. Well, one, you're one of the coolest friends that I've made in the last, how long have we known each other? About a year now? Yeah. We're coming up on our year anniversary. But you have one of the most unique injuries. And on this show, we don't really ever try to focus on the disability, because I think everyone we've heard it all. I was a diving accident. We all know plenty of driving motorcycle accidents. There's a guy that got, hurt skydiving, all these different things. But your injury, I had never even heard of before. And I should have, if I was a good podcast host, I would have researched it and all that. But I figured,
going to ask if you looked it up.
No, I didn't. I actually didn't even know what it was until someone on Instagram had posted it, or I think I found a news article and I was like, okay, so she's got this. But anyways, let's get to it. You have CRPS, which I don't even remember what that stands for. Do you want to explain?
CRPS. So
this guy screwed up. He wrote CPRS.
Yeah.
CRPS.
Yes, CRPS. So it's also known as RSD, so complex regional pain syndrome or reflex sympathetic dystrophy. It's a neurological disease. It can be started from anything as minor as a sprain to a surgery. You fall and kind of hit your hand the wrong way. Anything that causes soft tissue trauma can start it.
And how does that affect your mobility?
So at first it was just in my lower right leg for a good 3 years. It was really painful to walk. My limb was atrophying away. It's super, super ice cold to the touch. So walking on it was really difficult. So I had a cane for a long time. And then I got into a car accident and had to have a bunch of back surgeries. And it ended up spreading it up through my spinal cord. So that made me go from walking with a cane to what you see today.
Well, what I see today is a pretty badass woman who got pretty into adaptive sports early on. What was your first introduction to like adaptive sports or wheelchair sports?
It would be, was it April of 17? I was up at Walter Reed when I was living up there, and the Air Force Wounded Warrior program sent me an email about a caravan in Florida. And this is like, I'm up in DC. It's cold. I'm just cold. I want to leave. And they're like, hey, come do this. And so I was like, okay. So I applied. I got selected. And then I flew down there. And the first like 2 days, I didn't want to leave my hotel room. I got real drunk. I made up some bullshit story that I was sick. Went to the doc. They're like, yeah, go rest. Like, you know, they can tell that you're just going through your process. And mine was like really being around people. I didn't trust anybody anymore, so I didn't want to be around people. So third day, they finally got me out, and they got me onto the track. And so this grumpy, pissy girl walking with a cane, they're like, you're going to run. I was like, you're fucking stupid. There's no way. And they're like, you're going to run. I was like, whatever, B. Like, no. So they made me run. And then they brought me to seated volleyball, which I loved. And then we did wheelchair basketball, and my spark was really from there.
What did you like about sitting volleyball?
I felt quick. When I felt like I knew that I was a slow person. So like feeling that quick again was like really cool for me. Yeah.
I got to play it once. And I went to it was like a disabled veterans introductory to sports camp at Lakeshore.
Yeah.
In Birmingham, Alabama. And it was obviously designed for like amputees and like paras, because we were playing like, you know, wheelchair basketball and swimming and like throwing and like, you know, and then they're like, all right, we're rotating over to the sitting volleyball. And I was like, yeah, I don't know how this is going to work. I'm probably just going to take this one off. They're like, oh, no. Here, we'll transfer you down onto the floor and you can play. And like with my core, you know, it's like I got to have like at least a hand holding myself up. And
that's how I do it now when I play.
Yeah, but you still also have some core where you're like, you know, able to like sit upright. I'm super floppy out of my chair. I mean, I got better balance than most people.
Yeah.
But it's a chore. And then when they were like, all right, here, it's your turn to serve, I'm just like, why are you fucking making me do this, you dick? It was a good time though. We had fun. That was my first time out in Lakeshore. And it was definitely not my last. You know, I don't know if you've been out there yet, but it's
no.
Yeah, it's kind of like the it's definitely the crossroads of like wheelchair rugby. At some point, I think every single rugby player passes through there. It's where the
they're doing Four Nations.
Yeah.
Coming up next week. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's the home of the U.S. national wheelchair rugby team. It's also home of, I want to say, the women's basketball. I'm not sure if the men's are still there. Goalball.
Okay.
Which is actually one of my other favorite like adaptive sports.
I've never.
You know what it is?
No.
Goalball's for athletes with visual impairments.
Okay.
And basically what you do is you wear these I don't know if you've seen those goggles that are blacked out.
Yeah.
Because certain players, you know, they might be able to see some out of one eye or like, you know, shadows out of the other eye.
You want to keep it fair.
Yeah, when you wear the goggles, you can't see a damn thing.
Yeah.
And you play 3-on-3, and the court's about the size of like a volleyball. And it's got this ball that kind of looks like a schoolyard kickball.
Okay.
Maybe, but it's textured more like a basketball, but it's hollow and it's got these bells inside so they can hear it.
Whoa.
And the object of the game is you're supposed to roll the ball into the nets that are there's a wide net at the end of each goal line, and basically to try to block it, you just have to try to listen to where the ball's coming from, and then you got to sprawl out. And so every time they throw the ball, if it's not going in, like someone's getting hit in the face or they're getting hit in the dick, or like, it's hilarious.
I need to watch this.
It's
That's
amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah. Every time they would come down to Lakeshore to do a camp or something, I would always volunteer.
Yeah.
Because I got introduced to the sport. I volunteered for it while it was they were doing a tournament up here in Vancouver for the School for the Blind.
Okay.
And I met a couple of the U.S. players, because Portland actually had 2 of the starters for the U.S. team on the women's side.
Okay.
And they had won. I know they won gold in Beijing.
Okay.
Don't quote me, but I think they did. I know they podiumed in London and Rio as well.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really cool to.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. It sounds really cool.
It's an awesome game. What sucks about it though is like it's one of these shittiest spectator sports, because you can't cheer, because you have to be really quiet, because they have to be able to hear the bells.
I guess I'm always just gonna watch it on YouTube then.
Yeah.
You know how I am when I'm watching sports. I'm like,
I always just wanted to go to like a game with like just a bunch of cowbells and just start ringing them, just getting loud and crazy.
More cowbell.
Right, exactly. There'd be more goals, because you'd be really surprised, like the way that they're so in tuned with their other senses. You hear about it all the time, but until you actually hang around people with visual impairments, you don't realize that like they're almost superhuman with what they can do. I mean, I was watching Jen. I was in my I was parked up at Lakeshore, and they just finished up with the camp, and I was getting into my truck, and I'm watching Jen leave the gym, and she's walking towards the dorms, and she doesn't use a cane or a service animal or anything. She's completely blind. She just knows her steps, and she's walking, and there's one curb, and just instinctively I was like, "Hey Jen, watch out for that curb." She goes, "Yeah, I know." And without missing a beat, just steps right off the curb all the way down. I'm watching her. She's walking, maybe 50 yards to the dorms, just completely unassisted. I was just like, there's no way I'd be able to do that.
That's like echolocation or something.
Yeah, I don't know how she did it. And from my understanding, she's completely blind. So I was just like, that's just... And yeah, what was really weird was when the first time I saw her down at Lakeshore, I was like, oh, hey, there's Jen. I'm going to go say hi.
Yeah.
And just without even thinking, I hadn't seen her in maybe like 2 years, but I was like, hey, Jen, how you doing? Like, and it took her maybe 4 or 5 seconds. She's like, Tim? And like, I didn't even realize, I didn't even introduce myself. I just came up and started talking to her thinking she saw me.
Yeah.
But it took her maybe about 4 seconds, and she just pulled my voice out of that catalog in her brain and was able to recognize my voice. And I was just like, that is incredible.
That's crazy. So, yeah.
I wonder, because like I'm sort of an audiophile where like I love listening to music, and I always wondered like do the blind people, do they listen to music completely different than how we do, where they like they hear certain tones and like just I don't know. I mean, you ever listen to a song and you're like, or like listen to a song through a good pair of headphones and you're like, wow, I never noticed like that instrument there.
Yeah.
Or like that kick drum there.
Yeah. I was thinking in my head, when you like close your eyes and you start to see like all those patterns, like what are the patterns that they see when they're listening to music? Like it's blowing my mind right now.
Yeah. How do we get on this topic? Oh, we're talking about Lakeshore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to Lakeshore, it's one of the, you've been to Ability 360 in Phoenix, right? No. Oh, that's another Mecca center that we can get into. But Lakeshore is you'll get out there eventually. I think if you stick with the rugby thing, I see you getting an invite to a U.S. at least a U.S. developmental camp, let them take a really good look at you and give you some, coaching. And I think you'll be trying out for the U.S. team within a couple years.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So, fast forwarding, you started playing. You were actually the first female rugby player, female veteran rugby player.
Yeah.
I should say. And you're rostered with us with the Oscar Mike Militia. Felt kind of bad because we had to steal you from, where were you at, Houston or Maryland?
I was in Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to kind of jack you from the Houston guys, but
I think we already had that plan before I even moved to Houston, though.
Yeah.
Like, Rick and I had been talking for a little bit before I even came up, and I kind of knew that I wanted to be with people that, were like me.
Like you, yeah.
Same
veteran.
Mentality, yeah, veteran.
Yeah, can shoot the shit and dish it out and take it.
Yeah, and then also enjoy shooting guns and
doing
all the fun stuff.
How did you get linked up with Oscar Mike?
A friend of mine through the Air Force, his name is Bill Lickman. He's real good friends with Rick through the Spartan races. They did OEW stuff together. And when they figured out that I would most likely be classifiable for rugby and he knew that I liked it, he was like, hey, you should check out my friend. I'm going to send him a text and tell him to call you. And that's how it started. Right
on.
Yeah.
And then what was your first event with us?
Was it Jacksonville SummerSlam last year?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's my first real taste of
We
rugby.
talked about this. I was there, right?
Yep, you were.
Yeah. That was your first time ever playing rugby?
No, that was my first time playing like real wheelchair rugby.
Like in a tournament with in a game?
With people that were like classifiable.
Yeah. Okay. What were your thoughts of that?
I was just excited.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it was that like mind like snap, like this is about to happen. This is my life.
Like what was going through your head the first time you actually laid the chair on someone? And
you remember your first fist fight? When like your first fist fight that you won?
A long time ago.
You know that like feeling you get in your gut? You're like, yeah. You're like, what's up?
Yeah.
Like that's what was going through my head. I'm like, that just happened.
Yeah.
And it was this like big ass dude, like full core, full trunk, full everything.
Do you remember who it was?
I don't.
It's not important.
Yeah. I don't remember. Because my first hit was at an Air Force camp.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a dude that had like 130 pounds on me.
Yeah.
Like.
Did you lay him over?
Full court. No, he laid me over, dude. Full court press in the middle. Just go by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, but that didn't scare you or discourage you at all?
No, it made me want more.
Yeah. That's one thing about rugby players. Like you kind of have to be like a little bit fucked up in the head.
I think that's how you have to be to join the military too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There's like one little piece of like your sanity missing where it's like, this sounds like a good idea. Let's go do this.
We all have a good idea, Ferry.
Yeah. But in the rugby community, like I think most of us are like just natural daredevils where you see a lot of guys that, got hurt riding their dirt bikes or doing stupid shit, you know, like driving their motorcycles too quick or, driving their cars too fast and
diving somewhere too shallow.
Yeah. And then you get all that aggression and you bottle it up into a quadriplegic who can't vent certain ways.
Yeah.
But then you invent a sport that was originally called murder ball. And you throw them a ball and you give them specially designed chairs that resemble fucking bumper cars.
I call them like when I'm explaining them to people, I'm like, it's like Mad Max in a wheelchair.
Yeah, exactly. It's human bumper cars. Because there's no, we call it wheelchair rugby, but there's really no able-bodied equivalent. If you tried playing this game, even in football pads, you would be getting fucked up.
Yeah, there would be concussion after concussion after concussion.
Yeah, the way that we hit each other. Unfortunately, the chairs are designed to take the majority of the impact, but
you still feel you still feel it.
Yeah, you get hit by like, one of those Japanese players like Ike or Shimakawa.
That's probably the
Chuck
hardest
Aoki.
I've ever been hit was Ike.
Ike, yeah. Oh, hands down.
That man could probably knock me up into the air and throw my chair sideways 17 feet.
I took a hit from Ike a couple times, but there was one that I remember when we were in Japan. This was when I was on the U.S. team in 2017. But yeah, he laid into me in the key, and like I had my titanium chair, and supposedly those things absorb a little bit more. But I mean, I felt it in my spine. I felt it like in my lumbar. I was just like, holy fuck, that motherfucker can hit.
Yeah, he just got you.
And the surprising part was he was at a dead stop, and he was only maybe less than 5 feet away. And just the power he was able to just generate. Him and Shimakawa.
Oh
I think Shimakawa,
God,
like, he only needs like 3 feet, and he will fucking just,
it's bad.
boom, just slam into you. Yeah.
Ooh.
I saw Ike. Do you know James Adams for Shepherd? Black dude with the dreads.
Yes.
Predator.
Yes.
Yeah, he was on Team US for a minute.
Okay.
Same year I was. He ended up resigning from the team, but he went up to Vancouver, and I think he was in the key. He was the chaser.
Yeah.
And Ike came down and blew him up through the goal line. I mean, it was just like he pretty much just blew him up, carried him, scored the goal, and left poor James on the fucking goal line. And I was just like, oh my God.
That dude is a monster.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to hopefully they start live streaming some of these games. I don't know, is Japan going to be at Four Nations? What do you know what teams are going to be there? I haven't really followed along.
I forget what teams, but I know we are.
Of course. Canada.
It's our home turf.
Canada, maybe.
I think Canada is.
Maybe Australia.
Most likely.
Maybe Japan.
Or Britain.
Britain would be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Aussie,
they're fun to
Canada,
watch.
Us and yeah, that would be really good.
Yeah, Britain's got some ballers. I don't know if you've ever seen like James Roberts.
Yes.
Yeah, he was really fun to watch, especially when he was running into the Phoenix system all those years that they were winning those championships.
Yeah.
Just really developed into just this superstar guy. Australia is always
it's always
fun to watch
with them.
Yeah, we got to see them. I got to go fill in. Actually, I was playing with Houston for this tournament down in Tucson.
Okay.
One of their .5s wasn't able to make it, so they asked me to fill in, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. That's a Division I tournament. And Australia was there. Denmark was there. Denver was there.
Yeah.
Phoenix, U of A, and then us.
That's a great lineup.
Yeah, and then they had, like Joe Delgrave had a team that was mostly like 2 5s and 2s. I think they had 1 5.
Okay.
So it was just kind of like, a lot of deuces. But the Houston team, we finished dead last. We didn't win a single game. We almost beat Denmark, but we were the only team there that didn't have Paralympic experience.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we had some guys, that had been on the U.S. team.
But none that had actually been to the Paralympics yet.
No, yeah. I mean, all the other teams had, Paralympic experience. Although, let me think. Maybe Denmark hasn't been in the Paralympics. Don't quote me on that, though. I'm not a fucking rugby historian. But regardless, I mean, they were a solid team.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a really fun tournament. What was shitty though was the last game was against U of A and Australia, and it was, I don't remember the exact details, but it was one of the shittiest endings I've ever seen, because it was Australia had just scored like the go-ahead goal, and I want to say there was only like 3.9 seconds or something left.
Oh, no.
And Wheeler takes the inbound, cocks it up, throws it way past half court. The ball bounces like on the opposite 3-point line, and it bounces, and then it the next bounce was into EK's hands into the corner of the goal, but the fucking volunteer that was running the clock had started it early. So
Shut the front door.
Yeah. So they had to redo the play, and that gave Australia enough time to set up in the key. And I mean, you know, U of A even took a timeout to advance the ball. And I mean, when you're only going to catch a team with their pants down once.
Yeah.
And then once you give them enough time to set up in the key, like, your percentage of making a goal with that much time left is
like zero.
It's not going to happen. Yeah. It was really shitty to see a game end that way, because we were guaranteed an overtime. We were guaranteed, you know, a couple more minutes of that. And it was a really exciting game. You know, it was,
that sucks. That's a crappy way to go.
Yeah. Rugby live is just one thing. I mean, you can watch YouTube videos and all the, you know, like the Facebook Live, but until you actually are there,
you hear the chairs.
That's what it is.
You smell the rubber.
It's like mini car collisions.
Yeah.
And like, you just, especially when the gym, like at Nationals, when the gym's, you know, a giant old empty warehouse, and it's like, it kind of echoes, and it just, it's just such an awesome sound. Yeah, I love pulling up to a rugby gym, like, especially if you're like one of the later games and you're pulling in and there's a game going on, and you hear the whistle and you hear the crashing.
It really gets you like into it, and you start to like get in your zone just from hearing that. You're like, oh, it's almost time.
So you completed your first season. What were your thoughts of that?
I'm just ready for more, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't have an outlet unless I have rugby.
Right.
You know?
How many tournaments did you get to go to this year?
More than I can count.
Yeah.
It was probably like 8.
Any particular one that you enjoyed the most?
I'm going to say our Florida tournament kind of series. That whole like 2-week conglomeration was my favorite.
Oh, right. Yeah, I missed out on that. I was overseas, but you guys went to Jacksonville and then West Palm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
But then in between, you guys all went to Tampa and stayed with like Ryan.
With Ryan, and then Mason was up with Joel. So there was like a bunch of us. The Schulers, the Smiths were with Ryan and I. Like, it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of like really good conversations, good quality family time, really. Yeah,
that's what's really unique about the Oscar Mike crew, is just like we live together. And you're drooping on me.
Yeah, I'm drooping.
Got some equipment issues. Yeah, that's how you tighten the
Oh, I lied.
Why is it sagging? Oh, you're loosening it up.
Oh.
That's why.
That's even better.
There you go. Keep going. Yeah, righty tighty, lefty loosey there.
Oops.
Are we good to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was saying, like the Oscar Mike. I mean, we've gone over this a bunch of times on the podcast, because I've done. Let me see how many Oscar Mike folks I've had on.
Like 3 or 4. Most
of my shows have been with just the Oscar Mike guys. I think the only guys that haven't were the 420 episode. And then my buddy, Kevin's an OG Oscar Mike guy.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Whew. So mom's cooking coming back up. But yeah, we're just really close knit and family oriented. You know,
very much. So.
It's no surprise, like, you know, like when we were living at the compound together, and it's like I'll get up one morning and be like, hey, I'm making some eggs. You want some? If you were up, you're like, hey, I'm gonna make some eggs, or you know, what do you guys want? Like, yeah. And we just you know, we just chill together. We watch movies, and even what was really cool with you is we were worried, like, oh shit, like this is like our first female athlete, like what are we gonna do? Like, she's gonna need her own room. And like, you were totally cool, like, you know, just, I mean, we set up that curtain for you for privacy, and that actually really helped out, because like, you know, we can't just have one person in a room, because it, you know, at Nationals we needed
we needed all of the beds.
We needed every bed available. And,
it doesn't really bother me. I mean, like, being in the military around guys all the time, especially as a female, like, I've just been around dudes forever. So
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned that, but Karah is actually a Air Force veteran.
Yep.
And you did some nerdy job, right?
Yeah, I was a 1 and 2 Charlie, so a SIGINT analyst.
Oh, what now?
SIGINT analyst.
What does that all entail?
You gotta join the Air Force, get a clearance, and find out.
Oh, I'm not authorized for that.
Yeah.
Where were you all stationed at?
I was at Hickam, Hawaii.
Ooh.
Then I was at Fort Meade in Maryland I didn't even get to see the inside of the skiff there. I mean,
Yeah.
That's where I ended up going to Walter Reed from, so.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
How was Hawaii?
Beautiful and hectic.
Yeah.
All at the same time. Like, it wasn't what I pictured Hawaii would be. The only place that really was Hawaii to me, like what I thought of my whole life growing up, was the Disney resort.
Which island is that on?
Oahu.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've only ever been to Maui, like Lahaina.
Yeah.
And that was kind of how I pictured Hawaii.
Nah.
Just like, I think every island's like a little bit different. But yeah, Lahaina was nice.
Was it?
Yeah, it was just kind of like your typical beach town.
Is that the which one is the one you can't go to unless you're like Hawaiian?
Oh, I don't know.
Isn't there one? Because each island has their own little thing about it. So like the Big Island is the volcano and it's real country, and then Kauai is that the party island?
I don't know. I honestly don't know much about Hawaii. Like I went there for my cousin's wedding, and it was cool. It was a good experience. Yeah. I got to check a state off my list, but
Have you been to all of them yet?
To all of the states?
Yeah.
No, I think I got like 8 or 9 to go.
Okay.
I haven't been to Connecticut. Well, okay,
dude.
so I have.
Grandma's still up there. She'd love to have you.
So I have been to Connecticut, but I don't actually check off a state unless I have spent the night there.
Okay.
So like I think I drove through a part of Connecticut or like Delaware.
So it took you 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was driving from like New York to Boston.
Okay, yeah. So it's a good like hour through the state.
Yeah, but I don't really count it. I mean, I saw a bunch of nice little yachts and all the boat houses, and I was just like, I can't really check this off. But no, one of these times, maybe next summer, I want to take my trailer out there, because most of the states I haven't been to is up in the Northeast.
Up in the Northeast.
Yeah, I got so I got Alaska, which ideally I would want to save that for the last, because I think that'd be the most epic.
It's the last frontier.
Yeah, exactly. But if I have the opportunity to like go up there and do like an elk hunt or like a moose hunt or a bear hunt or something,
that would be fucking dope.
Then yeah, I'm gonna take that opportunity. But so I need to go to West Virginia.
Yeah.
I need to go to Connecticut, Delaware, not Virginia, New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont.
Okay.
And Rhode Island.
Don't go there.
I heard it's pretty hood. I heard Providence is actually pretty hood.
It's
kind of like one of the last mafia towns.
Yep. Yeah, you have all the guys that are still thinking then that they're in the like Italian mafia, and then you have the guys that actually were.
Right. Yeah, I heard that's where they all live now because they can't afford to live in Brooklyn, or they just got kind of muscled out, and it's still kind of lawless out. Yeah.
Yeah. All of the hipsters kicked them out of Brooklyn.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Brooklyn. When I went there in 2014, it was like, it was not. New York was not what I was expecting it to be. I hated it.
It's very crowded. People are so rude now.
It smells like piss.
Yeah. It's just dirty, and
it smells like hot garbage and fucking piss.
Yeah.
And then your wheels get all sticky.
Yep. And then you don't want to touch like anything, so you're not wanting to eat because your hands are going to be immediately sticky after you wash them.
Yeah, I carried like baby wipes and hand sanitizer, and I was using that like fucking crazy.
My skin was crawling thinking about it.
Yeah. And like, have you seen that documentary on Netflix? I think it's just called Rats. And it's like all the rats that live in. There's just as many rats as there are people in New York City.
Thank you.
Yeah, and they're literally everywhere. Like, you know how they just pile the garbage like on the sidewalks at night, because that's how they take out their trash. You can just watch the rats running in and out of those things. If you just pay attention, most people just, they walk by it, they don't even fucking know, because rats are so smart where they're able to like,
they blend in with the garbage cans in the streets.
Right. And they're survivalists. Like rats are one of the most like adapted creatures on Earth. Like I think they started in like Mongolia. Yeah. Like the rat that we know. But they've just been able to spread and live almost anywhere.
They just take everything over.
Oh yeah. Ugh. Check out that documentary. It will make you just be like,
My skin is
I don't want to go to New York.
With rats, dude. Already crawling.
What states haven't you been to? Well, you got to check off Oregon.
Yeah, I checked off Oregon.
Been Spending to California?
The night. I have been to California.
Idaho?
No.
Idaho's underrated.
Is it?
Yeah, I feel bad for putting this out there on the show because all 20 listeners are going to be like, wow, really, Idaho? But Idaho's kind of gorgeous.
Really?
It reminds me of like Central Oregon before it got really popular. Okay. But unfortunately, like the Boise area is getting just swarmed with people now. That's kind of like the new hotbed. A lot of Californians are moving there. A lot of Oregons are moving there.
They're trying to find that piece of like quiet again.
Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, you're right at the foothills of the Rockies. And there's good hunting, and there's a bunch of lakes and rivers, and then it's also cheap. Property out here is not cheap anymore. But it's all about just finding your own spot and trying to convince the rest of the Oscar Mike. I don't know if you know my idea, but
our little family compound.
Yeah, the neighborhood, the colony.
The colony.
Yeah, the Oscar Mike colony. I want to buy property out somewhere, maybe Houston.
I was saying we got to do it in Texas. Yeah.
Houston makes sense.
There's an airport right there. Yeah. The hunting is good. The gun laws are good. Once they go green, it'll be even better.
Yeah. When I was out in Phoenix, though, I was thinking Phoenix would be a good spot too, because for all the reasons you just said about Texas, applies to
Phoenix.
Yeah, Arizona, and Arizona is also a medically green state. So
how are their property taxes? Because in Houston, as a 100% disabled veteran, you don't have property tax.
I'm not sure, but that's how it is here too.
Is it?
So it might be like that. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look into that because that's actually something that you would want to consider.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, how cool would that be if we just all had our own neighborhood and we were all neighbors?
Could you imagine if all of our kids grew up together?
Yeah, like Elijah.
Yeah.
Elijah would be the oldest one.
He would be the leader.
Yeah, he would be the leader of the crew, and
oh God.
I'm just thinking of like all the.
Brittany and Caleb's.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
She's the oldest, Ellie.
Yeah.
And then Elijah, then No.
Who's No?
Nola.
Who's that?
Ellie's little sister.
Oh, right. Yeah, they're I love the Wilsons. I don't really like know them that well, but I know that they're good people.
Yeah, they're a great family.
Hoping to get Caleb out and banging around with us a little bit more. So
I hope so.
Figure out when we're gonna all be at the compound next. What do you got going on in the next couple months?
So actually next month there's a track and field meet up in Illinois that I might be going to. It's like 2 hours.
Like at the university or?
I forget exactly where, but they have classification there and it's like a national qualifier.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, you were telling me on the car ride down that you were thinking of kind of pursuing the track and field route.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. What all have you ever? Because I've seen you compete in like able-body racing.
Yeah.
Or sort of able-body. It was at the Warrior Games, so it's like sort of able-body racing.
It's like kind of cripple racing.
But you want to race in a racing chair?
Yeah.
Have you been in one before?
Yeah. I've been in a racing chair maybe 8 times now, and I really love it.
You know what's really fascinating is the nobody's making a living playing rugby, right?
No.
But wheelchair racing is one of the few sports that you can actually make money doing. Yeah, there's a lot of like road races that you can just enter and
go do.
Yeah, I mean, you look at like, you know, like Tatiana McFadden. She's made a whole career out of that. And the other one is wheelchair tennis.
Okay. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah, because they have a lot of the opens and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's actually really big overseas. I didn't realize it until I was over in Australia. And they'll I mean, like, their wheelchair tennis players are like B-list celebrities.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and they'll even like televise the games overseas.
Why aren't we doing that here?
I tried playing tennis, and just without having the wrist flexion, it just felt really weird. And I know you can like tape up and all that, but at the same time, it's like I'm a contact sports guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, tennis would be another thing to like look into.
I'm pretty good at racquetball. I played a little bit of racquetball a couple months ago, just, you know, messing around.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty good at that. So
I got to keep an eye out for like introductory clinics for you, because I think you know, with the nature of your disability, there's a huge variety of sports that like you could get into and possibly excel at. You know? And, but so you're gonna go up to Illinois. Do you throw or anything? Or just...
I do. I throw shot put and discus.
So you want to try to compete in that as well? Right on.
See what I can do. Put up some numbers, some official numbers. See where I'm at and see where I need to go. Yeah,
and what's really cool for us, and hopefully, you know, this helps like some of the listeners out there that don't know about this program, but there's for veterans, there's a program called the Emerging Athletes program. It's the VMAA, and I don't remember what that stands for, but for me, I get an extra stipend through the VA for being an elite athlete. You know, for rugby, it's you have to be invited to tryouts. So and then you get put into the Emerging Athletes program. You just get a little bit of extra stipend to help you know, supplement your training costs or your travel costs. And every sport kind of has like a different requirement. But I mean, it's offered for table tennis, for swimming, for track, for wheelchair basketball, for almost any Paralympic sport. Because I think the idea behind the program is they want to get you know, veteran representation at the Paralympics. So
I can see that. Yeah.
That's
I need to look into that a little more.
It's not a reason to like, you know, do a sport, because you're not going to make a living doing it, but it helps.
Yeah, it definitely would help.
And yeah, if anyone out there is like listening and they think that they qualify, I would definitely try to contact. I mean, your coach should know something about it, but there'll be there should be like a website you can go to on the. You know what I'll do is I'll clip this out and I'll just put it in the description. I'll put the link in the description for anyone that's interested in that. So besides that, what else you got going on in your busy life? You're doing the what's the you were telling me about the International Women's Rugby Camp?
Yeah, we have that coming up at the end of July. So it's the International Women's like Invitational Clinic, and we're trying to bring, I think it's like 20 females across the world out to Houston to kind of build up our skills and really try and build women's rugby, because we really don't have a huge representation in the wheelchair rugby world.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, a lot of people don't realize this, but wheelchair rugby is actually a co-ed sport. I mean, the females are competing right alongside the males, and there's plenty of female quadriplegics out there, and I think just a lot of them are kind of hesitant to get into the sport because the majority of us are males, and that's just because I think the majority of, you know, people that are injured are males, because fucking guys are stupid, and
that's true. We tend to be a little smarter and get sick instead.
They like to fucking climb up on roofs and fall off.
That is very
do stupid shit. But no, that's great. Because I know are they doing it this year where they're going? Paris usually hosts like a female tournament,
the Women's World Cup. So I don't think it's going to be in Paris this year. Last I heard is it's going to be in Japan, kind of coinciding with
great.
So that'll be really cool.
Yeah, I was so I'm going to be trying out for the Paralympic team.
Yeah,
tryouts will probably be in January, but for whatever reason, if I don't make the team, I'm still planning on going out to the Paralympics. And who knows, maybe this show takes off by then and I'll just do I'll try to get some media passes. And,
that'd be awesome.
Maybe get some interviews of Paralympic crippled bastards out in Japan.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be kind of fun.
Could you imagine Chuck Aoki coming on here?
Oh, I want to get him on. He's on my list.
Awesome. I love Chuck. Like talking to him, your brain will explode. He is so full of knowledge.
Yeah, he's one of those guys, like, he's known for being a beast on the rugby court, but people don't realize that he's actually kind of a nerd. Like, he's
going for his doctorate right now.
Yeah, he's going to be a doctor soon.
Yeah, he moved out of Houston. He left Houston to go up there and do his doctorate.
Oh, he's been moving all over. When I first met him, he was going to school at U of A, and then he went back to Minnesota, and he was in he was doing like an internship, something like in DC.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that in Houston, and then now he's out in Denver, and dude's gonna be a doctor soon. So, but no, he's definitely on my list. I want to get him on. I want to get him on the show maybe closer to like 2020 and break down some of the politics. Yeah. Because the presidential race, because things are actually starting to heat up already.
They are.
I'm already thinking about just fucking ghosting it, like let's say I get cut, in January 2020, be like, all right, let's find a spot to go to for the next, year. Yeah. And just wait it out somewhere that doesn't have internet.
That would be nice. Like some tropical.
Yeah, go to Bali.
Ooh, the Maldives.
And just go to Bali. Maldives. Just go to Bali and dive and play. They have wheelchair rugby down there.
They do. You're right.
Yeah. That was one of the trips that I went on last year. Was the Bali trip, and that was just one of the most incredible experiences.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. Well, we'll get you out there soon.
Yeah, one of these days.
Yeah. Well, we went to Bali, and it was just four of us. And Ryan. Okay, so it was myself, Ryan Major, Joel, and Chris Hull. Yeah. And Ryan Ingleby. Okay. But what had happened was his flight got delayed. So they ended up just having to cancel it and postponing him for a couple days. But when we get to Bali, we found out that they had given us the wrong dates. And so we had actually showed up during their basketball tournament, and the rugby tournament was supposed to be next week. So we were like, oh, well, what do we do? Yeah, what are we going to do? Yeah. And the guy, Rodney, he runs the Bali Sports Foundation, which is kind of like the big adaptive sports program down in that area, pretty much all over Southeast Asia. He just arranged it where we it ended up turning into like a rugby clinic because the Indonesian rugby team was already there. Yeah. So we would just do like a 3-hour clinic in the morning, and then he had arranged 2 vans to come pick us up, and in the afternoons, we'd get to go off and explore the island. We went to go see like different temples and beaches and the monkey forest, and go try some of the cat poop coffee. Have you heard about that?
I heard about it. Yeah. I'm dying to try it. I hear about it every time.
Oh, I had some here, but we drank it all. But dang it. Yeah, I was actually able to convince him to just get me the green beans, because they wanted to sell me roasted beans, and I'm kind of like a coffee nut.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, just give me the green beans. I'll roast them at home because my dad's a coffee roaster, so we got stuff to roast here.
That is awesome.
The only secret to good coffee is just how fresh it is.
Yeah.
Like once you're roasted, it's only good for 2 weeks, and then once you grind it up, it's only good for like 2 days.
Yeah.
So you kind of just
it's got to be fresh.
It's all about how fresh it is, and the blends and all that. I mean, yeah, that all adds flavor, but a good coffee is just fresh.
The coffee you were giving us when we were up in at the compound was really good. Out of that French press.
Yeah, that was some of it was Black Rifle Coffee.
Yeah.
And they're out of Salt Lake City.
Okay.
I think it's a veteran-owned business. They're out of Salt Lake City. Their shit was good. I like their gunship blend. I don't remember all the details that goes into it, what it was, but the gunship blend was pretty good. And then we had the AK blend as well. I like their packaging. Their packaging was dope.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I wish I had a bag here I could show off. So if anyone from Black Rifle's listening and they want to sponsor a podcast, I'll fucking totally push your shit.
We really do love coffee.
And then the Google guys actually hooked us up with some of that Firehouse Coffee from or Fire Station. Yeah, out of Rockford. And they're kind of cool. I actually want to get on their website and buy some more beans from them. I'm actually kind of out, but they're kind of cool because they do what Oscar Mike does, but for firefighters.
Yeah.
And instead of selling badass American-made T-shirts, they roast coffee.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. And their packaging was fucking dope too. And I love their logo.
I was still laughing at your plug.
My what?
You're like random plug in there. Like badass American T-shirt.
Yeah. Well, Noah has an offer to sponsor my podcast, but if he's listening, you want to sponsor a podcast, let me know. I'll totally push your shit too. Oh,
it's right here, Noah.
There
I got you.
So, yeah, I don't know how we got on that topic, but what were we talking about? Coffee, Bali, cat poop. Cat poop coffee.
I don't know how we got onto all of that.
But yeah, so Bali was it was one of those experiences. We became really good friends with Rodney and his sports foundation, and ended up doing a couple more trips with him. I took a crew out to Singapore last year. Mm-hmm. And that was weird. That was like, cause I'd gone to like Southeast Asia before, like I'd gone to like Laos and Cambodia and then Bali, and it was all these like third world countries, really kind of one of the like forgotten places of the world. Yeah. It's really, kind of like you feel like you go back in like the 1970s, but then Singapore was completely the opposite. It was like a modern city. It's super clean. Probably the most accessible city I've ever been in.
Really?
Yeah, surprisingly, right? Like, yeah. I mean, there was elevators everywhere. There was handicapped bathrooms, and
that's crazy. Could you actually like get your chair and you into the handicap stall?
Yeah, it's an entire different like, it's not. They don't actually have like handicap stalls in the bathrooms. Yeah. They're its own private bathroom.
What?
And most of them just have like the little button that you just hit and the door slides open.
That's awesome.
You hit the lock and it locks, and some of them have like showers, and there's like awesome. Fold down grab bars and
what?
Yeah. The only pain in the ass is for whatever reason they like to put the flush like above the toilet, so sometimes you're like reaching. I actually think I broke a nail because it's like one of the buttons that you have to like push.
You have to like really jam it in. Yeah,
I think I actually broke one of my thumbnails there, but yeah, surprisingly, it was like super. I mean, wheelchair friendly, and the sidewalks were, nice, and it wasn't really much hills, so like rolling around was fine.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was an incredible place. I would love to go back.
Yeah, well, I need to go there now, so you might as well come back with me.
Yeah, well, they're doing the tournament there. I want to say it's like in October or November. But if we can get a crew together,
that would be dope.
It'd be really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Bali Sports Foundation, they're one of the groups that I'm like really trying to help out. I went to Cambodia.
Didn't you go to Malaysia too?
No, we're going to Malaysia in August.
Year. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we stopped in Malaysia on our way to Bali.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we just had a quick layover in Kuala Lumpur, which was kind of nice because like that was on that trip. Like Chris and I had traveled together, so we went from Chicago to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
And then we spent. There's some thunder. We spent a couple, like it was like 12 hours in Abu Dhabi. And then we had a 6-hour layover in Kuala Lumpur.
Okay. And
we just were like, oh, we can leave and go check out shit, but let's just go check into one of these, like, you know, quick stay hotels.
Things, yeah.
Yeah. And we just conked out for a good, like, 3-4 hours.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was great. It was really great to just get off your butt after
all of that flying.
Especially when your feet are all swollen and shit.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
What's the furthest that you've flown?
Hawaii.
Yeah.
So in July I'm going to Germany with the Air Force for rugby.
Oh, right on.
So that'll be my furthest flight coming up soon.
Yeah. Where in Germany are you going?
Ramstein.
Okay.
Yeah, they're doing a whole
just right there at the Air Force Base.
Yeah, they're doing like a Warrior Fest, so it's like an expo. So we're actually looking to like have one of the international teams come out, like one of the lower like D2, D3 teams from that area come out and come play against the team that we're bringing and do kind of
Why
like
is it when I hear like the word festival, when it's like in the US, like, hey, do you want to go see this music festival? I automatically think of just sweaty, nasty girls on Molly. Yeah. But when you say festival in Germany,
it's happy.
I'm thinking about like beer steins and lederhosens.
I'm looking for some like slug and chug games. Like you slug a beer and play some softball or something.
And
I don't know.
all the fondue and all the beer sausage.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah. That's one country that I haven't been to that I really want to go.
Yeah.
It just seems like a really fun place. And I hear the accessibility there's decent for Europe.
From what I was told, it's going to be should be pretty easy for me.
Yeah.
So
when's that trip?
That is July 17th. Or no, it's I get there on the 21st, I believe. So I leave the 20th, get there on the 21st, and I think we're there until like the 27th.
Oh, right on. I'm jealous.
Don't quote me on that.
But it's like July, end of July.
End of July somewhere.
Right on.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll get some time off to kind of run around the town and take some photos.
Yeah, I wanna go see. I have some friends that spend a lot of time out there, so they've given me a lot of different places that they said I need to go and see, some places to go eat at.
Yeah.
You know, to
What's
really
the
get
nearest
some
big town to Ramstein?
I couldn't.
Because I know you're probably nowhere near like Berlin, but.
I know Vilsack is like 2 hours from there, if that gives you any clue.
No, I'm not really familiar. I'm not a geography major, but the cool thing is like. When you travel with like wheelchair rugby or like most wheelchair sports, like you don't ever really stay in like the major cities.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get to like get out and go see parts of the country that you would just never normally go to. It's kind of like when people come here and they get to go to Lakeshore and they get to go to Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah.
And they're like,
nobody ever goes to Birmingham, Alabama.
It's not on the top 25 of anybody's list.
No.
But they get to go, and experience kind of like the true South and like the heart of Dixie. And, I'd lived there for 2 years, so it's kind of got like a special place for me because it kind of gets a bad rep because it's Alabama, but it's like any other place. I mean, it's unique in its own way. But it's not like you're leaving the country. It's not like you're going to like Miami.
It does kind of feel like you're leaving the country though, because it is very rooted in the South, and like the accents are real thick and.
Yeah, but it's no different than a place like, like Athens, Georgia, or like
Yeah, but if you've never been in the South and you go to Birmingham,
yeah, true.
You're like, where are we?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, when I first went there, I kind of got that, but kind of knew what to expect. But you know what was crazy is like before I got hurt, the furthest that I'd been east was Phoenix. Yeah, I think I'd only been to like maybe 4 or 5 states.
That's crazy.
When I got hurt. Yeah. I'd only been to Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, and Arizona.
Jeez, you just made a little loop.
Yeah, it was just kind of like I was just a total West Coast kid.
Yeah.
Had, always wanted to go to like Texas and all that. Didn't really know much about like Chicago. Thought I wanted to go to thought I would love New York.
That
totally
was
wrong. But like it's really cool because like you go you get involved with like the National Veteran Wheelchair Games, and those are in like a different city every year.
Yeah.
And that's when I started kind of really getting addicted to like the traveling was when we started. My first year was it was in Spokane, so I'd actually never been out to Spokane, Washington, so that was kind of cool getting out to that part of the country. And then next one was Denver, and we had actually drove there.
Yeah. So
we went through like Utah, never been to, and it's probably one of my favorite states now. And then Wyoming.
Yeah.
And then we just went from there, and we had a flight out to a couple of the East Coast ones, but the games have been like in Pittsburgh and Philly and Richmond and Tampa, and they're going to be in Louisville this year.
Yeah. It should be a really, really good event is what I keep hearing.
Well, I'm not I skipped out this year. Decided to start training for a marathon instead.
Okay.
Which falls like right around right after the vet games this year, but maybe I might come out for the last few days and watch like the championship game. But from what I hear, they're not going to stream the games again this year.
Why?
It doesn't make sense, right?
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
to me.
that's what one of my my PVA sources was telling me, that they just decided it wasn't cost efficient. I was like, well, that doesn't make sense, because like, it puts your event on the internet where people can always watch. So like, if a kid is sitting like in the hospital and he's debating like, oh, what's this? Like, do I want to go check this out? Yeah. But I'm going to read, a dozen articles about this, or can I just click on this one link?
Yeah, and watch it live.
Yeah, and watch, wheelchair basketball, or watch the slalom, or like, it just, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. I really wish they would reconsider that. But I also was thinking about maybe trying to get like a media pass and just going out there with a couple cheap cameras and just fucking doing it myself.
You should. Yeah. I think you should. Yeah. You should do your commentary on top of it, because that would be the fucking icing on the cake. Right.
Yeah. I did the commentary for the Nationals, and that was kind of fun, because it's just like you get to just do it unfiltered. I've done it, like in a professional stance, but you
that's not as fun.
Yeah, you can't like rip on dudes. And just what's awesome about being in a wheelchair is like we have just the weirdest sense of humor. You know what I mean? Like we laugh about the fucking dumbest things, and we'll just like, out of context, like if you just hear some of the things that we say to each other,
the conversation,
people would be like, "Oh my god, these guys are horrible."
Like we're wrestling, like trying to pull each other out of chairs.
Oh yeah. Oh, were you there when me and Brett got in a little grappling match?
I was definitely there.
Yeah.
Oh god.
That was fun. I had him in the deep guillotine. I was just like, if only my right leg would just come up and over, and I'd get him in this body lock, put him in my guard. Like,
you weren't there for my first quad wrestling match, were you?
No.
I was down in Houston, like when we were just down in Houston for Best of the Rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed out. Where was that
at? Drunk o'clock at night, with walking back from one of the places on campus with Jake.
Oh yeah.
Hearing, We got into, I don't know how it started, but we got into it.
He was probably talking about keto or some shit.
Probably.
You're probably like, would you just shut the fuck
up? We know
like,
you're keto.
Care
we got
about
it.
Your ketogenic. Like, we get it.
We know you CrossFit. It's okay.
They're kind of like the new
CrossFitters.
I think they're synonymous, but like weren't CrossFitters like really into like paleo for a while there?
Yeah.
And now it's about the keto, which I mean the keto shit, like I don't really understand it from what I hear. It kind of makes sense, but
I just keep hearing ketosis.
Yeah, I'm going through ketosis.
I don't know what that means. Yeah. You sound like you're being real cranky right now, and I want to feed you a cheeseburger.
One of the it does make sense though. Like one thing that like a lot of people don't realize is how much your diet really affects. Ooh, yeah. A lot of things about being in a chair. I mean, everything from your bladder health to your blood pressure to, you know, your bowel movements.
Yeah.
And people are always talking about like, you know, why am I having trouble taking a shit or,
you know, what's going on? It's like 3 times a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop
like
it.
How many times are you going through that drive-through?
Yeah.
You know, like
have you cooked yourself a meal in a while?
Yeah. How much fiber are you actually getting? Like, are you eating veggies? Like,
you need water, not just energy drinks.
Yeah. Like you're not getting your vegetables, cooking it in vegetable oil. You know?
You're not.
Yeah. But that's one of the best things that I ever did for my health. And like, I mean, I struggled with my weight there for a while because when I first got hurt, you know, I went from like 170-ish straight down to like almost 120. Yeah. Straight up like a, you know, fucking Holocaust victim. And
how tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to picture
Were you not expecting that? Or?
No, I was. I'm trying to picture like Holocaust victim Tim, like just being that skinny, because I'm at like 135, 140 right now. Yeah. And I'm 5'7".
Yeah, I'm 135 right now.
Yeah.
At 5'10". Maybe 5'9" now. I think my spine's like shrunk on me.
I think you're just shrinking in your old age.
Yeah, I'm turning into that like shriveled Asian.
You're my.
But one of the best things that I did for my health was I hired a nutritionist. Yeah. That I linked up through. It was actually one of the MMA gyms out here. Okay. Yeah, it was. I wanted to kind of get out of the box and like, you know, not hire like a clinical nutritionist because they were just going to tell me all the same shit. So I just wanted like an outsider's perspective.
You wanted like an athlete's diet.
Yeah,
more
exactly.
So than anything.
Yeah. And he was great. He had so many just good pointers and things that I was just fucking doing wrong. And like, it's all about like timing and portioning things out and when to take your carbs, when to take your proteins. Don't worry about the fats. Like the fats is like, you know,
you'll burn that
off.
Yeah,
it's part of the diet. And yeah, I kind of want to get with him again and just, you know, do kind of like a follow up. And because, you know, I was able to go down from like I think the heaviest I got was like 160, but it was gross. It was gross. It was a fucking.
I saw that picture, dude.
Yeah,
jeez.
It was a disgusting 160.
Like. You looked kind of not as roly-poly, but you know that marshmallow man from Ghostbusters? Oh, yeah.
I was...
you were a big boy.
It was definitely, like, fluffy.
Yeah.
But the... yeah, and you know, what's really cool is, like, you think about it, like, every 10 pounds you lose, like, that's like a bowling ball. Yeah. That you don't have to fucking carry around with you anymore. So when you push or when you transfer... Like, my transfers got... It got to the, you know, like I was like where, you know, my transfers, I've always been able to do kind of like an even transfer, but once I started kind of like losing those weights, I was able to like, you know, actually transfer up into things. So like if I transferred like onto a couch that was lower than my
you could get
my
back
chair,
into your chair, yeah.
I was able to get back in my chair, and I noticed, you know, the couch transfers were a lot easier, and ended up ditching the sliding board, and you know, now I'm able to transfer into cars and cabs, where before it was like I'd have to use like a sliding board or someone would have to help me.
Yeah, they'd have to grab your pants and rip your ass in.
Yeah, exactly. And I freaking ripped plenty of belt loops and. Dude,
I swear, Andrew he doesn't think sometimes. He almost ripped my pants the other day.
With the belt loops?
Oh my God, yeah. He goes to pick me up because, so my chair to his bed is about this difference.
Oh, yeah.
So from my chair to the table. So I'm trying to like, do my best. And he's real good about like letting me do my thing until I fuck up and fall and need some help. But he like went to catch me right as I was falling, and he grabs the belt loops and just yanks up.
Yeah, I had my buddy Lars did that to me in Vegas. I was just like, because this was before I was comfortable like wearing a belt.
Yeah.
And I was just like, hey bro, can you just yank these pants up and give him a little twist? He's like, oh yeah, sure.
Rip.
And he's actually a rugby player. He's got a CP.
Okay.
He's like a walking CP guy. So he's got like, I mean, I don't know if you know this.
Super strong.
Yeah, CPs are pound for pound like some of the strongest human beings in the world.
They're crazy, yeah.
But yeah, he just grabbed me by the belt loops and I just felt both of them just pop at the same time. I was like, fuck.
Son of a bitch.
But I think it's just like an instinct thing, because you look at it, you're like, oh, they look just like fucking handles. I'm gonna grab here.
This is a holder.
Yeah.
No.
But
don't use the belt loops.
How long have you and Andrew been dating?
Not long. March is when we started dating.
All right.
Yeah.
Y'all met through?
We were in Vegas,
like
of all
the Warrior
places.
Games?
Yeah. I was there for the Air Force trials. So
yeah.
When I was doing the track and field and all that rugby stuff. How
have you found like dating in a wheelchair? Like, is it any different than dating as an able body, especially as a inter-able couple, which is a new word that I learned a couple months ago.
Oh, thanks, Dr. Phil.
Thank you, Dr. Phil, you fucking asshole.
I mean, we still have the same issues. Like, it's really no different. You still have to figure out the ins and outs of the person. Like, the only difference is sometimes I need a little bit more help than your able-bodied girlfriend would probably need. I mean, there's a lot more laughs that come with this life because I'm going to fucking fall way more times than anybody you know.
Yeah.
You know? So
what was his reaction like the first time that you fell out of your chair?
After he figured out I wasn't hurt, he was more like, it was like, fuck. Like, you could see his like heart stopped a little bit. It was like a genuine concern. And he's like, shit, this is going to keep happening.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. You should have seen him today. We were playing basketball, and the chairs they had weren't exactly as high in the back as I need them. So I went to grab a ball. I went back, and I swear his eyeballs popped out of his head. Like, he was like, what? Like, sprinted over, and, you know, everybody's trying to, like, help me up. I'm like, just back the fuck off. Like, somebody come over here so I can yank up.
Yeah.
And then, like, 3 minutes later, I fucking fell over because you know how I play. And everybody comes, you know, sprinting over, and they're trying to undo my belt or undoing my waist belt on the thing. And I'm like, why are you undoing this? Just pop me back up. And they're like, no, you get out of the chair and get back in. I'm like, I can't fucking stand.
That's so much harder.
I can't fucking stand. Yeah. Like, are you going to pick me up? Because I don't want you to pick me up.
Yeah, like, what are you talking about? That's so much harder. That's one thing, like, at a rugby tournament that you always see. Is like, when people go over, it's always the players are always laughing like,
yeah.
Look at that. But then you look at the reaction from like the crowd, and they're
like,
always
oh God,
like,
is that cripple okay?
Yeah, they're like, oh my God. You always see it, like some of the looks that you get in the photos.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Like during the action shots, you always just see like the reaction. And it's, you know, if you have like one or two players that are just sitting on the sidelines, they're always just like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, they're like, oh,
but then everyone
shit.
else is just always like, oh my God.
Is he okay? Like, yes, he cannot feel that he hit his knee. He'll be fine.
Yeah. What, so we were talking about inter-able relationships. I think there was somewhere I was going to go with that. What has been like some of the biggest challenges with that?
I don't know. Safety is a big thing for me. Like, I didn't really feel safe going on dates with people, especially like meeting them offline or, you know, how we do things nowadays.
Yeah, I guess I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are, you know, in a much vulnerable spot. there's gonna be people out there like, oh, I'll still whoop ass in a wheelchair. And it's like, yeah, I'm sure you will, buddy.
But you're gonna get your ass beat. Somebody's gonna steal your chair. You're gonna have to crawl home.
You have to recognize that like you are at a disadvantage.
Yeah. So like that's a big thing. I get a lot of like real rude comments about being a bucket list item now.
Yeah.
Like, I've always wanted to fuck a girl in a wheelchair. Well,
I didn't even know that was like a real thing.
It's fucking awful.
It's got to be really annoying.
It's really annoying.
Yeah.
Like,
you just get a bunch
why do you want to fuck me more now that I'm like not able to stand up than before? Like you weren't this turned on before.
It's got to be like a fetish thing.
It's so fucking weird, but you hear it from like everyone, dude.
Yeah.
Like
everyone. Well, I always joke about trying to bang a chick with less function than me.
Oh fuck, dude. What, are you just gonna like just fucking flop around?
Oh, I'll make it happen. I can be on top.
She's gonna be a super dead fish.
You can ask Mason about me pumping from the top.
Oh Jesus.
But yeah, no, you're totally right. Like you guys are like in that like vulnerable spot. So like, are there like any precautions that you take like before? Like let's say you met Joe Schmo on Tinder.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, like, you want to go out? Like, what's up? Like, and like, is there any like precautions that you take? Like,
there's a few, yeah. So I would definitely internet stalk them. Like, make sure you're not some like skis ball.
Yeah, make sure he's not catfishing you.
Exactly, yeah. I also drive myself. I park in a like very lit, very visible place.
You mean you're talking about you use the Crippled pass and just park right up front?
No, I actually don't even use a handicap parking placard half the time.
Why not?
I leave it for people that need the closer distance.
Yeah, fuck that. I call it the MVP. I call it the MVP spot.
It's very important parking. Yeah. No, I just for a long time I would get that. I hate that fucking pity look, so that's why I stopped parking in those spots.
Yeah.
Because if they see somebody that's like coming out from over here, they're like, "Oh shit, okay." But if they see you like trying to struggle your way out of your car, they're like, "Oh," and I just want to punch them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I park in like a well lit area. I usually let the bartender or like the hostess or somebody know. Like I'll try and get there early and let somebody know, like, hey, I'm on a first blind date, basically. If you see anything kind of weird or like if I start acting real like funny, like something's wrong with me, like I've been drugged or whatever, like, that kind of precautions.
It's funny you say blind date because that's basically what it is.
It's a blind date you set up yourself.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, you're totally right. And you kind of get to do the old Facebook background check and make sure the dude's not a complete psycho or a serial killer, but
yeah. Usually try and get like a Snapchat or something so you can like see their real face.
Yeah.
Because then it's like they take the picture right then and there.
Do you ever like tell your friends like
where you're
going?
I have my location turned on for like permanently for a few
people. Or ever
people.
have like one of your bigger friends like just say, hey, can you just hang out over there in the corner if this guy tries anything funny? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Especially if I'm out with friends and some dude's trying to like pull me from a bar, like there's been plenty of times where I'm like, hey, like I'm gonna go talk to this dude, but like watch.
Yeah.
Like if I, rub my nose 3 times and sneeze, like come get me and then beat this dude's ass.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Like,
yeah. That's
insane.
Yeah.
I've only ever gone on one Tinder date. I don't even know if it was Tinder, but it was one of those dating apps. Because I don't really ever. I'll just swipe and just fuck around and
see how many people
see what my matches are.
See, but they all swipe right on me for the most part. I'll get all the swipes in the world, and then they'll realize how much it like actually entails being with a cripple, and they're like, "Oh fuck, just kidding."
Yeah, but so I went on one when I was down in Alabama.
Yeah,
and I matched with this girl, and she was originally from Mississippi, and we were like, doing the whole chatting thing, and then she was like, all right, let's meet up, and I was like, all right, like, what do you want to do for dinner? And this girl wanted to go. We just went to Buffalo Wild Wings.
I'm all about it, dude.
It was fine. Like, I was like, all right, cool.
You could have taken me to McDonald's and I would have been happy.
Yeah. It was one of those dates where she was just, I don't know, I kind of got this weird, like, clingy vibe. And so, I mean, we made out a little bit in the truck, but That was about it.
You didn't want her to steal your chair and like make you come crawling back or anything.
No, I had it all hooked up and locked down. So it was
so
like,
smart, Tim. You so smart.
I was just like, yeah. But no, I never thought about that. And like going on a complete blind date, and like even, I mean, for me, like even as a guy, like I don't even think I would feel threatened at all. By any situation. Like,
I mean, most women that are gonna like, you know, match with you and want to like go out with you are gonna be more of like the nurturing caretaker types.
Right. Yeah.
And the guys that match with me, for the most part, are gonna be the like, oh look, it's another girl I can fuck.
Just these fucking weirdo meatheads that kind of have this.
Dude, they say the dumbest shit too. Like, one dude messaged me. He's like, I bet my penis can make you walk again. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
You should have just been like, dude, why aren't you at the fucking rehab hospital slinging dick around? Right?
I was like, I know. I was like, my entire rugby team would love to meet you.
Yeah.
No, bro. So I went along with this. I was like, my entire rugby team would love to meet you. And he's like, oh yeah, like thinking, you know, female playing with females.
Send him a picture of Larry.
I did. I fucking sent him a team picture without Karah. And he was like, what the fuck? And I was like, yeah, I mean, like, you might as well.
Yeah, dude.
If you can make him walk again, these guys have been not walking for longer than me. Shit.
If his dick could make people walk, that guy needs to be a fucking national treasure. Right. And he needs to go on tour to every rehab hospital and just
start banging them out.
Fucking slinging dick.
Laying pipe everywhere he goes.
Yeah, exactly. That's hilarious.
But yeah, no, like, the things I've heard would probably make most people cringe.
What's another one? What's another fucking one?
God. Let me come back to you with that.
Guys are creative.
It's
Guys will say some fucking weird things, man.
There's been a lot of like, I can make you walk again with my penis. There's been a lot of that. I don't know why that's the go-to. I don't. I'll think of some more.
What's an example of like just a terrible Tinder date that you got on?
Oh shit. I had somebody leave, like stand up and leave in the middle of us eating.
Just straight up?
Yeah, straight up left.
Left you with the bill too?
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
So we were eating, and out of nowhere, this dude freaks the fuck out. He's like, I can't fucking do this. I can't do this. And just left.
What'd you say to him?
He was asking about like what I do for hobbies, like what do I do for work.
What'd you tell the guy? You skin cats?
Pretty much. No, I told him I was a fucking, like, I play wheelchair rugby, like I travel playing basketball, like this is what I do. You know, I speak, I work with veterans, and I don't know, I couldn't fucking do it.
Just was like, nah, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had that happen to me most recently on a match I had here in Portland.
Yeah.
And the girl, it wasn't like that, but she Instagram stalked me and found all my photos of like guns and shit. And she's like, "Oh my God, you're a gun owner?"
Yeah.
And like, it was like, I had just fucking kicked her dog. She was just like, I can't, like, I can't compromise on this. And I was like, okay. Wow, that's not fair, but all right.
I guess I can't compromise on you not compromising.
Yeah, I was just like, that's not going to change. Like, it's May 15th right now. I just fucking bought all my tags for, all the hunts that I'm going to go on. So Jesus. I'm looking at doing like elk and deer and put in for bear and got a cougar tag just in case I run into something I can shoot.
Hell yeah.
So
shoot, not get in trouble.
Yeah. I want to get into because you were there, yeah, when we were in Jacksonville, they took us out for that trap shooting clinic.
Oh, yeah, you remember I beat the shit out of all of y'all.
Fucking smoked us. Yeah, we had a little competition.
My God.
And yeah.
I forgot about that.
But that was the first time that I had shot clays since
that was
injury.
My first time, ever shooting clays.
Ever?
Ever.
You know, it's a sport, right? Like,
is it?
Yeah, it's a Paralympic sport.
Like, I should look into that.
Yeah, I think.
I do precision shooting now. Like, I do air rifle.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really fucking good at that.
They tried getting me into air rifles, but, when you get to the Paralympic level, it's everybody's shooting 10 for 10s.
So
it's based off of time.
I'm averaging like a 10-4, 10-5 right now per shot. And I can pop I can pop 30 rounds off in 10 minutes.
I love fucking shooting, but I cannot get behind the air rifle because it's so fucking boring.
I like it. For me, like, it's my meditation.
Yeah. I mean, I get the same feeling when I shoot my rifle, you know, like 500 yards.
True.
You know, but it just, I don't know. For me, it's just, it doesn't. I've done it before at the vet games, and I was just like, yeah, this isn't my thing. Yeah. But the trap shooting, it really inspired me, and I want to get a bird gun. Okay. And start looking into doing, because I mean, are
you gonna go get your own birds after you shoot them, or are you gonna get a dog?
Oh, definitely get a dog.
Okay. I was gonna say, because I'd pay to see you go fetch a fucking bird.
Definitely not out of the fucking river or water.
Hell yeah, get in that track chair.
There's a lot of duck hunting in Oregon.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I was supposed to go on a pheasant hunt out in Iowa while we were at the compound, and that fell through just because there wasn't enough birds. Yeah. They're thinking about postponing that till like October-ish. Yeah. So I might be getting out there. But yeah, I've been really getting into like hunting. You know, just because like rugby's great and all, but I'm not gonna do it forever. And the hunting, like, there's just something about you know, harvesting your own animal, and you know, you process it yourself, and it passes through only you know, 1 or 2 sets of hands versus, you know, the steak that you buy at a grocery store. You know how many different.
It's so much better when it's fresh.
Oh, it's way better. Just, yeah, when you get like,
you can taste the game on it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm still new to the game, so I've only had the deer that I got back in 2007. But yeah, I mean, like, the backstrap on it and just ground it up, make like, you know, venison chili.
Dude, jerky was my favorite part of having like of deer.
Yeah, and my mom makes really good jerky. She does like a Laotian jerky where you like kind of cook it twice. But yeah, I want to get more into just, you know, harvesting my own meat and just packing my freezer. I think the goal after hunting season this year is just to not buy any red meat at a grocery store. And hopefully, if I can, you know, just pack it with enough bird meat.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So. But yeah, is that would that be something you're interested in? I know you're getting a track chair soon.
I am, yeah. Well, not officially. I got a phone call a couple of days ago. You know, asking some questions. They're figuring out the last little logistics of it to make sure that they can, you know, come through with that promise. But yeah, I should be getting a track chair soon.
Do you want to describe what that is for the listeners that don't know?
Yeah, it's a wheelchair tank, basically.
It's literally what it is. It's an electric wheelchair that has tracks on it. It's powered by forget how many car batteries are there, but
I think it's like 3 or 4 or some shit.
Yeah, we'll have to go play around on mine tomorrow before we leave. But yeah, it's an all-terrain wheelchair that you know, you can use it. I used it when I went hunting, and I mean, it goes through mud and gravel,
just like
and
nothing,
rocks, and you can go uphill and get on the beach with it. I haven't taken mine out to the beach, but
I haven't been on a beach since I've been in a chair. So that's that's the one thing that I'm trying to do this summer is get to a beach and like go.
Yeah, well, you'll have to get out to what is that San Padre Island?
Yeah, I'm a Florida girl, so like I grew up on the Gulf Coast side of Florida. Okay. So I need my white powder sandy beaches that have like no needles in them.
Right. You got to get out to some of the Oregon beaches. We got like all sorts of dunes and like black sand beaches. Ooh, and
that would be beautiful.
Did you ever see the movie The Goonies? Uh-huh. Yeah, that's filmed on the Oregon coast. What? Yeah, like Haystack Rock is, I mean, that's only about like an hour from here.
Looks like I have a road trip to plan.
I wish we had more time. Yeah. We could have, but I don't know, maybe you can get like a weekend off with Andrew. It's not that far of a drive.
Yeah. I plan on coming up a lot more too, so
right on.
Maybe we can come on down and do that.
Yeah, come get on we'll do the podcast real quick and then boogie on out to the coast. It's actually one of the coolest things about living in Oregon is like you're only an hour from the beach or an hour from the mountain. There's a bunch of rivers and lakes within a 20-minute driving distance from here. There's just something for
everyone.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, what were we talking about before that?
Dating while disabled.
Dating while disabled.
Yeah. I think it's easier for guys in chairs to find people that are like willing to date them long term too.
You think?
Yeah. I mean, like females like naturally are just caretakers and nurturing, and finding a guy that like, especially for me, I'm a very like alpha kind of female, you know?
Yeah.
And finding like an alpha kind of male to go along with that is like real difficult, especially when they have to take into consideration like, you know, ins and outs of daily life.
Yeah. That would be kind of weird dating like quote unquote bitch ass dude.
Could you imagine me with some like beta ass dude?
I could, but I would feel so bad for the guy.
Right?
I'd be like, wow, like he's carrying all her shit and like pushing her around.
Oh my God, no.
You wouldn't let him?
Fuck no. I hate when people push me. That's why my handles are always down, because I've had people like anytime they're up in public go and like help you.
Yeah.
No. If my handles are up, I probably forgot to put them down. Don't touch them. Don't push me. Push yourself.
Yeah, people are always asking, because I struggle with like hills and shit, especially at the airport.
That's
if it's carpeted.
Different. That is
But
so
they always
different.
come up and they're always like, would you like a hand? And I'm like, yeah, sure.
Do they ever just push you though?
The most annoying part is when you're like 2 feet away from the end of the hill and then they push you and you're like, oh, you took that from me. That's one of the things I love to say, like, especially if they come up and I'm like 2 feet away from the hill and they're like, do you need a hand? I'm like, no, don't take this from me. Or if I'm opening a door and they'll be like, oh, would you like a hand? I'm like, no, it's important I do this.
You just kind of turn it on them. That is so funny.
You gotta have fun with it, you know. I don't do it to be a dick. I have a fucked up sense of humor.
We all do, dude. You know those carts that they have at the airports for like.
Yeah, those things suck because you have to push them down to. Dude,
so I don't get on them anymore, but I'll wait until one is coming up, and I'll wait until he like passes by me a little bit, and I'll like wheel up real fast, and I'll grab onto the back. Oh, are you
talking about the
handicap
the ones
carts?
that they drive? Yeah.
So I'll grab onto the back when nobody's looking, and I'll just, especially when I have a long layover and I'm trying to kill time, I'll just like skate through the whole airport trying to hide from the dude that's driving this cart. Yeah. And I'll wave at people and I'm like whispering, I'm like, shh, don't tell, he can't see me.
You feel like they used to do that in California, like the skateboarders. Yeah. They used to do that with buses.
Yeah, and everybody's fucking like laughing at them and they're like, what? That's hilarious. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Atlanta's got those and they zip through.
Oh yeah, those things are so fun.
I wish I had the hand function to like grab on, but
dude, you can do it. I promise. We'll figure out a way.
I had a long ass layover in Atlanta just recently.
Yeah.
And I just took the time to just explore like almost every part of that airport and go to like terminals I hadn't been in, and I probably had pushed like, I don't know, it had to have been like 10 miles.
You didn't check your watch? Don't you always?
I know it went off. I hit my goal at some point. Yeah, I don't really pay attention to this fucking thing. It hits the goal every now and then. I mainly got this one just because it's got a standalone GPS.
Yeah,
which is super nice when you're overseas.
Really cool.
Yeah, like when I'm overseas, I don't do the international SIM or anything. I just bounce off of Wi-Fi, and it's kind of nice to like disconnect for a while. I mean, it's probably an inconvenience because people are trying to get a hold of me and shit.
So what do you do if something happens and you don't have like a phone to call somebody?
What'd you do before you had a phone?
I'm 25.
Yeah, but like when you were a kid, you know, like if you had to get a hold of your folks, like.
If they weren't home or I wasn't home to like call or pick up or whatever, if something like bad happened, I'd send a friend to like.
Yeah, you just figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, like you
just figure it out.
There's gonna be a way. Like, you know, you just figure it out.
I'm talking like if you're in your hotel room and like you misjudge like your transfer, like your bed fucking breaks out and like you're on the floor like just chilling.
Just figure it out.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in your room, you're probably on the Wi-Fi. If you're not on the Wi-Fi, hopefully your roommate's up. If your roommate's not up, hopefully you can get to the phone.
Call security.
If not, then, I mean, it's your time to go, and you just fucking die.
Yeah, have a good night.
But, I mean, if you want to survive, you're going to find a way.
Yeah, adapt or die.
Exactly. I mean, it's part of the game you got to play. I mean, you can't live your whole life in a padded bubble. Sometimes you just got to get yourself out there and put yourself in those situations to be vulnerable. But, it's a lot more rewarding than sitting at home in your room wondering if you can,
Yeah.
Like when we went to Bali, like I was like, man, I'm kind of worried about like the accessibility and like how's this going to go? And, it's like kind of like a first big solo trip. But you go with the flow and you figure it out. And on the way back, I had one of my firsts. I had to poop on an airplane.
I remember this. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was so excited.
Oh, you were so excited. You were telling us forever.
Yeah, I had to. I took a picture of it.
Did you?
Of not the turd, but of like me
in. I was excited for the quad shit in the airplane toilet.
Of me like in the bathroom with my pants around my ankles taking a shit, like because
funny.
Yeah. Well, what had happened? Like we were in Bali, and I don't know what the fuck happened. But I started getting kind of like backed up. Which is weird because, like, we'd go out drinking and I'd have like...
You'd clear it out, yeah.
Yeah, I'd have like 2 or 3 beers or more. Yeah. Can't remember. But the next day, like I'd go do my bow program and it would like... wouldn't be... The amount wouldn't add up. I'd be like, wait, there should be a lot more. So I could tell I started backing up.
Yeah. And
then on the day we left, I was like... felt this brick in my stomach and I was like
I'm gonna shit on an airplane.
I was like, fuck, we got like, it's like a 21-hour travel day. I fucking hope I can get home in time. And it was on the second flight so we went from Bali to like Singapore or maybe Malaysia again.
Okay.
But then we're gonna hop over to like Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
And I like just mid-flight. Fortunately, everybody was sleeping, and I was next to Chris, and I was like, "Yo, Chris, I gotta go take a shit, dude. Like, you ever done this before?" And he's like, "No, man. Like, I was like, what? Fuck. Like, what do I do?" He's like, "Wish I could help, man." I was like, "All right, dude, I'll figure this out." So,
I can picture him shrugging his shoulders, like, "Wish I could help, man."
So I pretty much like just grabbed, like my little carry-on backpack with all my catheters and stuff. I mean, I didn't have any of like my bow program tools or anything, or my suppositories. I didn't
realize that.
Anything. Yeah. So, but at that point, I was like,
we needed to just
I can't just shit myself, because then I'm gonna be sitting in my fucking poopy pants for the next flight, and then the car ride home. So I was like,
you don't pack extra pants?
No, but I should
always pack extra underwear and extra pants.
Like, I should, and some baby wipes. Yeah,
just in case you shit yourself.
Now that I know that lesson. But so fortunately, it was an international flight, and it was one of those planes that had the double aisle chairs.
Yeah,
or the double aisles. So the bathrooms were in the middle, and the wall that was in between the bathrooms actually opens up, so it combines both bathrooms.
Nice.
So they were able, I transferred into the aisle chair, and they pushed me into the bathroom, opened up that partition.
Got you in.
Got me in, and I was able to transfer onto the toilet. Yeah. And told the flight attendants, "All right, get the fuck out!" Like, so they got out. I locked the door, and I was able to just kind of like
shimmy down,
pull my shorts down. And I just was able to like lean forward and just
get it going.
Squeeze that turd out, but it fucking rocketed out.
Dude, I'm proud of you.
Yeah. I was just like, I can't. I mean, I started sweating, and I was just like, I can't believe that just fucking happened.
I'm really proud of you. That's insane.
I just proceeded to just sit there for the next... I gave it a good like 45 minutes of just... pressing on my stomach and moving around and
making sure you didn't have to do it again.
Exactly. Ugh. Yeah. So that was fun. And then like to try to like wipe my ass, because usually I use like a shower chair, like a shower chair or a commode chair, where you got all sorts of undercarriage space. Yeah, you're up. It's like you're up on a car lift. You got all sorts of fucking room to get up under there. God. But yeah, I just had to like wrap some fucking toilet paper around my hand.
Try really hard not to fucking touch the turds.
Go in between my legs, because I'm not gonna lift up and get to the side. So I'm going through the front.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, but
that was. You wiped forward, or you wiped back to front? That's a no.
No.
You still went. Front to back?
You got to go from
front to back.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'm just making sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Well, when I do it, like when I'm on my shower chair, I'm going underneath on the left side, and I'm going from front to back.
You true.
But yeah, pretty much I'm just like shoving the paper and then just kind of like shaking it off. And I just did that because I'm not able to like look at it and be like, oh, okay, I'm clean. So I was just like, you know what, just give her a good
extra wipes,
give her a good 8 swabs. The last 2 you kind of spit on it and give it that like Alabama Alabama wet wipe. You never done that?
No.
Oh, it's the best. If you don't have baby wipes, just let's right there at the end, Alabama wet wipe.
That is the funniest fucking.
I can't believe you thought you lived in Houston.
Yeah, but I buy baby wipes.
Yeah.
I clean my ass like a dignified
I love
woman.
Fucking baby wipes.
They're fucking amazing.
That was one thing that translated over from like the military.
Yes.
And I don't know if I hope every single spinal cord injury, every crippled person out there right now is listening to this. Like, if you don't invest in some fucking baby wipes, go to Costco. They're not that expensive. It keeps your ass clean. It keeps all those problems out. Yeah, you can clean your crotch.
You can if you get something in your knee, like in that little crease, you need to keep clean. Like
I use it to clean in between my toes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I usually just use like a hand towel and some body wash, but it's kind of a pain in the ass to get it up into the toes. So
I use them at rugby, like in between rugby games. Have you ever seen when I'm getting ready and stuff like that? That's one of my things because I still sweat a little bit, and I don't want to be sticky.
I don't sweat and I still get swamp crotch.
Yeah. So baby wipes, like armpits, I have under your cleavage.
That was one thing from the military that just translated over was like the love affair that you have with baby wipes when you're in the military and you go out in the field, and it's pretty much how you shower. Yeah. And if I'm at a rugby tournament and it's I don't have the accessible room where I can shower easily, a lot of times, if I don't feel like making a mess in the bathroom, because sometimes I'll just bird bath it. What I'll do is I'll lay down a towel in front of the sink, throw my shower chair there, and then I'll just, use a cup and just splash it all over myself and wash the vitals, pits, tits, and ass. And
PTA. I ever tell you my grandma taught me that phrase?
I had a caregiver way back in the day that taught me that phrase.
So it wasn't pits, tits, and ass for my grandma though.
What? Pussy.
Imagine that coming. This is maybe a month ago, dude. When we were down in Florida for that summer series a couple months ago, I saw my grandma and she was like, "Yeah, I just got to shower real quick. Don't worry, I'm just gonna PTA." I'm like, "All right, whatever." Cool. And she was like, "You know what that means, right?" And I was like, "Pits, tits, and ass." She was like, "No, you need to clean your pussy too." And I was like, "Jesus, grandma."
Yeah, but are you surprised?
No.
She's your grandma.
Yeah,
that's where you got it from.
Yeah, that is actually exactly where I got it from.
That's actually, I don't know if you want to get into that, but how is being the hygiene as a female? That's one thing that I've never thought of, because you still get your period and stuff.
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
dude, that fucking sucks. Because cramps are the weirdest thing now. So I used to be able to pinpoint exactly where my cramps are.
Yeah.
But now it's just my whole lower body is a cramp.
Damn.
And it's the weirdest thing ever. I don't know if it happens with everybody or if it's just because I'm a fucking freak. But it's insane. You have to be really, really careful because you can get UTIs really fast, especially being in a chair. So
yeah.
And tampons can fuck with that. pads are disgusting.
I feel like tampons would like trigger AD a little more too.
No, pads for me anyways. Pads do.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I don't know.
Wonder if it's just like the body just thinks it's like sitting on something that it shouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't really use too many things like that normally, so that's probably a weird thing for my body because I've never really used them except for when I was a baby.
Yeah, guys guys are just so lucky when it comes to like wheelchair life. It seems like because cathing in a chair, like it sucks, but like we're able to manage it because like all our bits and pieces are fucking front and center.
Yeah.
Where like females, it's like
you got to be like up close and personal.
Yeah, like I was reading some of the things on that spinal cord group where they were talking about like using mirrors and shit, and I was like, damn, like I know some guys that have to use fucking, you know, magnifying glasses to find it, but like at least things are still
Don't talk about yourself like that. Jesus, Tim.
Come on now. But like everything's all like front and center, like, and you know, like, and then even just like the hygiene thing, like it's a lot easier to keep a dick clean. Like,
yeah, I mean that's a big reason why I keep baby wipes, and you know I try to shower regularly. You know, you just got to be a little more attentive.
Yeah. And then even just like dealing with like the UTI, like it feels like, I mean, it sucks for anybody, but it just feels, I feel like females.
I feel like we get them more.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it's because everything is like so close together.
Right.
And because you're like literally sitting on your pee hole pretty much all day.
Right.
So, and like, you know me, I cross my legs all the time. Like that probably isn't the greatest for me.
Yeah, you got to let that thing air out. I do. I mean, like when after I get done like diving or something, like I like dry off really well and just kind of like
you just lay naked forever.
Yeah, just spread eagle and just fan things.
I mean, I do that at night.
Yeah. Like I probably should, like for the scuba diving stuff, I should start bringing some like baby powder.
No, baby powder causes cancer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
everything else, but they have actually linked baby powder to like cancer.
Oh really?
Yeah, and they don't even recommend using it on like babies anymore.
That makes sense.
Like took it out of everywhere pretty much.
I didn't know that. Is this recently?
I think when my first daughter was like a baby is when we found that out.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. It's crazy.
So, let's see. We're probably at like 2 hours and we got a shit ton of questions. You want to get into them?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. Let's do that. Let's see. Which one should we start with? We'll start with the Reef Foundation. Maybe they'll, repost our stuff and get a few more exposure out there. But they posted on, I think it was Instagram, but they were like, ask her how she wants to be seen by the world. And check out hashtag Reef Sees Us and reefseesus.org. Yep.
So do you know what the Reef CS campaign is all about?
No.
So it's a campaign they're doing worldwide. They're trying to get spinal cord injury victims and people with not victims, sufferers. Yes, thank you. So
crippled bastards.
Basically, yeah. So they want people with paralysis. So any sort of paralysis. They're trying to find the story behind the chair, basically. So see me as a person before you see this chair.
Yeah.
So I've been posting a lot about that lately, and like the big thing for me is like I want to be seen as an athlete. Like,
yeah.
I am an athlete, and all right, I train my ass off. I work my ass off. I fucking am watching film. I'm constantly trying to perfect my technique and my mindset and obtaining my goals, and I'm a fucking athlete. That's how I want to be seen.
Right.
I'm not a wheelchair athlete. I am an athlete.
Yeah, I went to a there's a gym not too far from here, about 30 miles. Mm-hmm. It's called Adapt, and they specialize in like functional training. It's like an able-bodied gym, but they also have what's called Adapt Advanced, where they work with spinal cord patients and people with like different kinds of disabilities. And,
yeah.
They started developing kind of like this wheelchair rugby program, like an elite, rugby training regimen. And the U.S. national teams adopted a lot of their a lot of their stretching techniques, and a lot of things that like the U.S. side does. They were able to adopt over from Adapt. But we at one of their very first rugby camps, the owner Brian, he was a ex-football player, played for Stanford, and was actually projected to be one of the first offensive linemen picked in the draft that year. But he, unfortunately, had just this horrific knee injury that ended his career. But one of the things that he said during the camp on day one was, like, I don't care what you have to do to get here. I know it's a struggle, and that you have to, put in, like, you have to get up earlier to do your bowel regimen, and like your bodies handle things differently. But I don't care about any of that. Like, when you're in this gym, like, I'm going to treat you like an athlete, because there's no such thing as a wheelchair athlete. Yeah. You're just an athlete who uses a wheelchair to do a sport.
Exactly.
But regardless of, you're still an athlete, and I'm going to treat you that way.
Good.
And, that really stuck with me. And that's kind of how I've always approached like my training. It's like, nobody cares. Just work harder.
Yeah. It's a big reason why when I do go to the gym, I don't really go to a lot of like adaptive gyms. I go to regular able-bodied gyms, and I'm right up next to the able-bodied people pushing probably the same weight, if not more, which is, it's some motivation for me to kind of best myself and like show like, hey, this is what, this is an athlete, this is what we do.
Right.
And kind of for them to see like, hey, maybe I need to kick myself in the ass a little bit.
You ever get those guys that come up at the gym and they're always
can I spot you?
Or like,
no,
wow,
baby,
you're so inspirational.
Yes.
Yeah. That's, I love using that phrase ironically.
Yes.
Just because, like, when I go out about my day and I'm getting groceries, I don't need someone to come up and tell me that, like, wow, hey, you're so inspirational. It's great to see you out. Because it's like, I'm not doing anything out of the ordinary. I'm just doing everything from a wheelchair.
Yeah. You know what? The one phrase I really fucking hate? Good for you. Because it always comes with that nod and that freaking, like, that inflection.
Yeah.
Just you, like, what is good for me? That I'm out of my house? Do I have to have a permit? Like, cripples are only allowed out 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Like, am I supposed to hire somebody to do my grocery shopping? No. What is so good for me that I'm doing an everyday adult task?
Yeah. I'm never, like, I always try, like, to not be an asshole, but just in case, if someone comes up and, like, if I'm getting into my truck and they're like, hey, do you need any help? Like, I try not to be an asshole, and I just say, I'm good, because I don't want them to, like, feel like, oh, okay, that guy didn't need help, so I'm never going to need, I'm never going to help anyone. And, that guy might run into another dude along the way, and we'll be like,
no, I'm not going to help him get up the hill.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking broke my concentration. That must mean dinner's ready.
Wow.
So let's burn through these questions. Yeah. Here was one. Jamie Douglas had wrote, and she must have just mistyped this, but she says, my 17-year-old daughter has CRPS, as well as other issues, including seizures. What advice would you now give your 17-year-old self? And I think what she means by that is, like, what advice would you give to someone who's like 17 years old and in your situation?
Yeah. Find an outlet. That was the biggest thing for me in my recovery, was learning that, things might not always go my way, but always having that outlet to kind of get that frustration out and keep me level-headed.
Yeah. And that doesn't necessarily, like, have to be wheelchair rugby.
No.
You know, it could be
painting. I told you, I go do karaoke in every single town I go to. I'm still going to Google one for us to go to tonight. Like, this is happening. Every single town I go to.
Karaoke's, I mean, especially like that's a great way of just putting yourself out there.
You make friends. And you know, people around you are positive and happy. You're going to be positive and happy. So it makes you feel better. And
like, I don't think anyone's ever been made fun of at a karaoke place. Like, you might get up there and sing terrible, but who gives a shit? Like, you're
it's karaoke.
Yeah, you're still out and you're still enjoying yourself, and all that really matters is like you're having fun.
Yeah, everybody's drunk there, so why not?
But there's other ways. You can obviously get into like dancing. You can go
paint.
Find you know what I did for the first couple years. It wasn't like my only outlet because I got into rugby pretty early, but one of the things that I liked to do with my brother was we used to go to the movies all the time. Yeah. And I don't know if I'm sure there's still a lot of places that do it, but the movie theater here in this town, they would have $5 movie Tuesdays. Yep. And it actually kind of ended up being a thing where we ended up getting like a couple of my buddies, and we'd always just meet up on Tuesdays. And Regal Cinemas, which is kind of like, I don't know what region they cover, but they cover this, Oregon. Yeah. But they have them in Texas and Connecticut as well. So they offer a companion pass. Do they? I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Regal Cinemas, if you're in a wheelchair, you can get what's called a companion pass. So it's pretty much, becomes a buy one, get one free. Yeah. So my brother and I would go every Tuesday. We'd get into the movies for just $5. We'd spend the rest on candy and whatnot. And we'd just see whatever movie was out, So it got to the point where, we were seeing just like, we saw like Piranha 3D and like Apollo 18, like those shitty movies. That sounds so much. Andrew, if you're listening, we're going to the movies on Tuesday. Yeah. I would call around and see, what specials are running. But a lot of movies, especially because Tuesdays, I think, is a slow day. So they're always, we didn't cover the question. Oh, you said, like find the outlets. Yeah, find an outlet that works for you. I think also like, I don't know if this applies for 17-year-olds, but also, for anyone else out there, it's just like finding a network. Like, don't be afraid. Of positive people. Yeah. Don't be afraid to make, crippled friends. Yeah. Cause I know for the longest time, a lot of guys are like, oh, why would I go play wheelchair rugby? Like, why do I want to hang around a bunch of disabled guys? But like, one of my roads to like independence was hanging out with rugby guys and learning how to travel independently and how to fly, independently and just. There's so many aspects of like daily life that you guys actually taught me more so than any therapist. Yeah. Well, you think about, the years of experience. Like cripple time that we all have, it's going to exceed any amount of learning. Yeah. A doctor would have to be practicing for, 40, 50 years from a chair. Yeah. And that's the thing is like, we have the real life experience. Through rugby, I learned how to like, cath into a toilet. So I didn't have to carry around a bottle anymore. Yeah. I learned how to hold a fork. So I didn't have to carry around the stupid foam at the cuff with the Velcro. Like, I thought that was your favorite. The worst was like if you went out to a restaurant and you forgot one of your adaptive things, God. And you're just like, well, I guess I'm ordering chicken fingers, or I'm gonna order the quesadilla again, or I'm just gonna have French fries. It's like you're gonna have that quad friendly food. And it's like, that's frustrating. Yeah, I learned all that from rugby and just traveling independently and even just the push to like start like doing my own bowel program and learning how to like set up shower chairs and I learned all of that through just the community that I was able to build, and a lot of that was through people I met through rugby. All right, next question. William Abel wanted to know, is there a point when sympathy from people becomes annoying? And if so, how do you squash it?
Yes. Like I said before, I'm not a big pity person. Like, I have a fucking dope life. I just live it a little differently, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to pity me, to have any sort of, like, sympathy. You know, it's frustrating.
Yeah. You know what happened to me in Phoenix? This is kind of funny. I just thought of this. We were getting off the train, and we were heading out to back to the hotel, and it was a group of us. There's probably like eight quads, you know, just all pushing together.
Yeah.
This guy he had seen, you know, my tattoos, and he was like, "Oh, hey, were you in the military?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Yeah, you know, I was in the Marines." And he was talking a little bit, and he's like, "Oh man, like, you know, it's great. Like, you guys are here for the, you know, wheelchair rugby and all that." And then we get to the crosswalk, and he comes up, and he's got like just a wad of like 5s and 1s, and he's trying to give me some money.
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Oh man, I really appreciate it, but I can't take that, dude." Like, and he's like, "No, please."
And they like pretty much shove it into.
He tried,
into your
and
lap, dude.
I just had to like keep deflecting, and I was like, "Listen, dude, like I'm well taken care of. Yeah. Like, you know, like I got hurt while I was in. The government's taking care of me. Like, don't, like, please, I really cannot take this money." And he was like really being insistent. I was just like, I can't, man. Like, I really appreciate it, but
you should have directed him to the website. Like, hey, you know, if you really do feel the need to donate, send it this way.
Well, that's kind of what I want to do with this podcast.
Yeah.
Is
with the super chats.
Well, I want to start a nonprofit, because like, you know, I am pretty well taken care of, and like I live within my means, and I don't fucking ball out. Like, you know, there are some veterans that just fucking milk this for all they're worth, and they ball out, and they go buy, you know, nice ass cars and big ass houses, and I like to live within my means.
Yeah.
You know, and as long as like, you know, my family's taken care of, and I'm able to, you know, enjoy the things that I want to do, which is, you know, just mostly just travel.
Yeah.
But I want to start a nonprofit, and like any money that I end up making on this podcast, I want to put it into this nonprofit, and then help out people that weren't service connected or aren't veterans, because that's like a huge gap. I mean, you're getting a track chair for free through an organization. I got my track chair free through the Independence Fund, and there's like all these different organizations. I mean, even like Oscar Mike and Wounded Warrior, and there's all these organizations and foundations that help veterans.
Yeah,
which is great. You know, it is. It's I really appreciate them, and like I'm not knocking them down. Like, what they're doing is a great cause, but there's also
huge gap.
There's a huge gap with people that just, you know, got hurt snowboarding, and now they're shit out of luck because they don't have, you know, they're collecting their Social Security. But
well, so you brought up earlier the girl that messaged you that couldn't even afford catheters.
Yeah, well, that was on that was like a new Twitter hashtag that's going around. It's like hashtag cost of being disabled.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, and this one girl, she had tweeted out like she uses cocktail straws as catheters because she doesn't have insurance, and she couldn't afford to go see the doctor to get a prescription. And it's like, how do we live in America, like the richest, most abundant country in the world, and there's still citizens that have to deal with that shit?
So
like,
what's insane? So the Notre Dame, like within 12 hours of it fucking catching fire, there was like $600 billion already donated to fucking fix it.
It was like 600 million, but they exceeded like $1 billion within 24.
It was ridiculous. Like, there's no freaking way, it just frustrates me. I'm already getting like worked up.
No, it made zero sense, especially when you look at like how many people in Flint, Michigan don't have clean water.
All of them.
And how long was Puerto Rico without power?
Yeah.
And like you look at
Florida, where that hurricane just hit, is still completely demolished. Tyndall Air Force Base is still condemned, dude.
And it's kind of like a touchy subject, but I mean, you look at over in Europe, and there's all sorts of refugee problems, and like there's people that, you know, just are living out in the streets. But yet, you know, they were able to get all that money for a cathedral, which I understand the historical significance and the tourist factor and all that. But
like, we don't have, you know, we can't spare a couple $1,000s to help this girl stop having to use cocktail straws.
Well, think about like those were just, there was only like 2 or 3 billionaires that had done that. And think about how many that we have like in this country.
So many.
Yet none of them want to fucking step up. And like, that's why, like, you know, when people bring up like trickle down economics, it's like, shut the fuck up. Like, that's not gonna work at all. By
the time it gets here, it's a mist.
That has never worked. Even the guy, Reagan's like advisor that came up with that, he said with it, it was like 4 years after he had fucking resigned from his position. He said the trickle down economics was like, it was complete bullshit. Like it was a fucking shit turd sandwich that we sold to the American public, and they fucking bought it and ate it.
Ate that whole thing up.
Anyways, yeah. Let's get to these other questions. Elizabeth Med asked, what was the turning point moment for you? What or who gave you the strength to start building your new and amazing life?
I don't think I ever really started. Like, there was never really like a mental start for me. It was kind of like I got into sports, and then it was like little by little by little by little, I just kind of kept going and going, and a new opportunity would arise. And, you know, when your brain's kind of trying to talk you out of it, and you're like, no, I should probably do this. So I'd stop listening to my brain, and I'd actually go and do it. So I was taking every opportunity I could, like really trying to just do everything I could to get out of my head and like get through my recovery. And that kind of like, I guess, sparked it.
Well, you were fortunate like me where, you know, we were introduced to sports fairly early on. And I mean, like I said earlier, it's just it's one of those things that gives you a purpose. It gives you a reason to get out of bed. And those days when you're like, fuck, I don't want to get out of bed, but we got practice, and
you can't let your team down.
Yeah, maybe if I don't show up now, they don't have enough to scrimmage, and now I look like the asshole. So you kind of like figure out that, like, you know, the whole living in a wheelchair thing's not that bad.
No.
Especially when you're around other people that like are dealing with the same shit that you have to do.
Yeah.
But yet, you know, they're still at practice. They're still showing up on time.
Exactly. Like you ever, so like first time you piss your pants in front of like one of your friends, like that real embarrassing moment.
I'm trying to think when that was, but it's definitely been a couple different times.
So
I've had friends pick me up off the floor, like in bars and shit.
Yeah.
Just fucking drunk out of my ass, pissed all over myself.
Oh, jeez. Dude,
butt ass naked, pants down to the ankles.
First time I pissed myself around people, like after the chair life started, I was thankfully around like one of the Oscar Mike quads. So it was great. I didn't have to like freak out. There was no like worrying. Like he was like, nah, it's okay. Like this happens to all of us. Like you're good. You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Like, there was no like embarrassment out of it. It was just like, you know, I know this life. I get this life.
The only thing like, we will make fun of you for is like those nasty motherfuckers that like piss themselves during a rugby tournament. And then
the ones that leave their fucking piss jar on their rugby chair.
Well, they just sit in it fucking all day, and you're like,
that's gross.
I obviously know you smell like piss, and like now I have to play rugby against you. Like, dude, go fucking change. You smell like a fucking UTI right now. Like,
I'm getting a UTI just looking at you.
Yeah, just my nose is getting a fucking UTI, dude. Like, go fucking clean up, man. Like,
here's some baby wipes.
I never fucking stood that. Like, how? For example, if I was a fucking AB and I just fucking all of a sudden pissed myself, I'd be going into the store and getting a new pair of pants and fucking cleaning up. Like, but like for some reason people think like, oh, I'm in a chair and I get a pass. It's like, no, you don't, dude. You're making all of us fucking look bad.
Yeah. Like, don't be a nasty motherfucker.
Yeah. Because like you do that shit, and now the stereotype is like, oh, all these fucking crippled bastards smell like piss and shit and fucking don't give a fuck about their hygiene. It's like, no, dude, come on, man.
Dude, we had
you
one
represent
dude,
more than yourselves. To quote Rick, you represent way more than yourselves.
Exactly. Yeah. We had one dude at a tournament a couple tournaments ago, but he just had his urinal like half filled with piss, like hanging off of his chair.
Yeah.
Like, bro, the fuck.
The worst is the fucking people,
uncapped. It was uncapped.
When people fucking roll around with their leg bags just all hanging out willy nilly, like
hide that shit.
Yeah, tuck it in,
duct tape it to your leg,
tape it up, like
something, bro.
Cover it up. Get a fucking t-shirt and wrap that shit up in a t-shirt or something. So, all right, we got. Ooh, this is a fucking big one. Kim Kelly says she is so excited to listen to this. Smiley face. She's got a bunch of questions. We'll just crank through them.
Yeah.
What are the top 3 things that you would advise others who are facing physical disability to stay focused on?
Staying
and
positive.
You misspelled focused, Kim Kelly.
Oh, come on, Kim. We need some spell check. Yeah, so stay positive. Find a good group of positive people to like be around. Friendship is really, really important in recovery, especially with like physical disabilities, because sometimes you just need to vent, and not everybody's going to understand what you're talking about. So you need to have like some good friends that like kind of get you so that they can, help you out. And then staying as healthy as possible. So staying as active as possible and like eating right would be a huge piece, because that's, I think, the biggest difference between, the cripples were around all the time, like the active cripples, and like the cripples that don't get out and really aren't able to be out and about independently.
Because it's so easy, especially in a wheelchair, to like get sucked into that drive-through just because of how convenient
Dude,
it
Uber
is.
Eats, I don't even have to leave my house.
That's the thing.
They bring that shit to my door.
But you can also Uber Eats the good shit. They have salad on there.
I get Denny's.
Denny's has salads.
I get eggs.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
No, it's one of just piggyback off of what you said, but yeah, I mean, like definitely like maintain that positive mentality, and I think one of the ways that I was able to kind of like maintain, because you can't be positive all the time,
No.
But it's like I always try to find like humor even in the negative things.
Yeah.
Like, how bad is it really? Like, okay, you're struggling to open a jar. Like, what?
But if you look at it from an outsider's perspective, it's funny as shit.
Right.
Like, watch it. That's what I always picture when I'm trying to open those.
Yeah. Or like, like if, you're trying to reach like a cup in a cupboard and you're like, fuck, I can't get it. Like, well, if you're going to want to use that cup, like you're going to figure out a way. You're going to get a broomstick, or you're going to transfer up onto the counter, or you're going to do something. But like, you got to just have fucking humor in it. Like, just don't, I guess the biggest thing is like, don't take life too seriously. Like, have fun while you're here.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's just like, like ABs go through the exact same thing. They take it with stride. So if you can just, find the humor in the little things, like, you'll be all right.
Well, nobody gets out of life alive.
Exactly.
So you might as well just have fun.
All right. It was like a 3-part question, but she said, what's your advice for someone who feels like they can't make a difference?
The fact that you're thinking about trying to make a difference is already making a difference, honestly.
Right.
And that's the smallest change. That's where it all starts, is wanting to make a difference. Yeah. And from there, you have to find the motivation to start doing little things. So, start small, smile at somebody that looks like they're having a bad day. That just made a difference in their life,
That's the easiest thing. It's like, you never know what someone else is going through. So like,
exactly.
If you take the time out of your day just to be like, hey, how are you doing? Like, they can just be like, oh shit, like someone actually talked to me. Like,
so you know how confrontational I am, right?
No,
not at all. Yeah. So Starbucks in Hawaii back a couple of years ago, I'm in there with one of my friends waiting to get my drink. And this lady is like laying into the freaking barista, like laying into her over fucking whipped cream. I'll never forget this. I still boil up angry over this shit. she was like screaming at her. She's like, that's not the way I told you to put that on there. Put it this way. Like, it was the bougiest thing I've ever seen. Most ridiculous. And like this lady, like you can see her starting to well up, and she's like getting real frustrated, and the lady's like starting to yell at her more, like, I want your manager, blah, blah, blah. And me being me, I'm like, you can't fucking talk to her like that. Who the fuck do you think you are? Like, you don't know what goes on at home. She might be getting screamed at by like 4 kids and 2 baby daddies.
Yeah,
like,
or her fucking husband just comes home every day and just
like,
beats her ass with a belt.
Exactly. You don't know what this lady goes through. Like, maybe you should fucking be a little kinder. You know, if the way your coffee is prepared, like your whipped cream has to be a certain fucking direction, then do it yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
or
there's no reason.
Or just wait the extra, 3 minutes it's going to take her to fix the order.
Yeah.
Because she's going to do it for no charge. Like, is your time really more important? Like, well, then if it is, then maybe you should get up earlier and fucking come to Starbucks earlier. But
it was ridiculous, dude.
I think you hit the nail on the head. It's like, I think the world kind of just needs a little more kindness and like a little more like maybe just sympathy and perspective, and just realize that like we're all going through shit. It doesn't matter if you're in a wheelchair or if you're an able body or, like we all got our problems that we're dealing with. And it's like, we're all on this fucking rock together, and it's like, we're all heading to the same place. It's just like, we're all just here just trying to exist. And it's like, it would be a much better place if we would just realize that, like,
Yeah. The biggest thing is, like, the world seems to have this giant victim mentality and, like, this woe is me complex. Like, it used to be, like, a whose dick is bigger game, but now it's, like, whose cut is bigger.
Yeah.
And it's just...
I've always blamed, like, social media for that, just because it, like, you display the best parts of your life, and now everyone's comparing it, and it just like creates this like vortex of like narcissism where people they never feel like they have enough, and they're always, I mean, like how is being an Instagram model like a thing? Like, you can actually make a living being a hot chick on Instagram.
I mean, that's how I got some of my sponsors.
What do you like? But you know what, like. You know what I mean by like the Instagram models. That just
I know
all
what
they
you mean.
do is just they post pictures of themselves drinking champagne with their tits out, and it's like.
Or what was it? The Slut Whisperer. That was a big one that popped off. He would go to nightclubs and he would just fucking squirt champagne on girls and film it, and it was like, it took the fuck off.
But what is that like? What is that teaching like? The youth, and like
teaching them to be judgmental.
The next generation is like the next, like, where does that place their values? Like, it just, I don't know. It's one of those things where I fear for the next generation, because they're gonna have zero privacy.
Yeah.
I mean, at least for me, I grew up in a generation where, if we had fucking cell phone cameras in high school when I was in the military, it would be, I'd probably be in fucking prison. All the stupid shit that I've done, I
mean, all the stupid shit that we've done, and just thankfully nobody did record.
Right. Yeah.
Jesus.
All right. Kim's last question was, what are a few things you wish other people could understand about the adaptive community?
Honestly, for me, it's the fact that we are a community, part of everyone else. We are just a little bit more resilient. We just have to kind of figure out new ways to get through old problems all the time.
Yeah.
So
you become a really good problem solver.
Yeah, like real quick on your feet.
Yeah, I've seen some MacGyvered up shit in my lifetime. But
ever tell you how I used to drive my car before I got my hand controls?
You use like a golf club?
Nah, bro. I used to tie my shoelaces to the pedals.
Oh, yeah?
And I'd fucking push and pull my legs. Hope to God I don't spasm.
That's funny. What are you using now? You got hand controls now,
I have hand controls now, yeah. I'm not riding dirty anymore. But yeah, so really just that we're just a little bit more adaptive, I guess, is the biggest thing.
Yeah, I'm hoping like we're interpreting the question right. Like, I think just in case she means it a different way, but like I think our biggest barrier for like going outside is like making sure things are like, you know, wheelchair friendly. Like when you try to like go out to like a nightclub or something, like you always want to make sure it's like, you know, hey, are there steps? Or when you go check into like a hotel, that's the big one, right? It's like
bathrooms, especially at a bar, because you're gonna be peeing so much more.
Yeah, I always try to scout out the accessibility of a bathroom.
I'll usually call. Actually, I'll call up and be like, hey, you guys, you know.
Even then, though, because they'd be like, yeah, it's totally good. But then you're like,
but when I get there and it's not accessible, I'm gonna freak the fuck out.
Or like you have to,
or you're gonna be helping me get my happy ass on that toilet.
Or it's even like you have to like, you know, you have to funnel through the crowd or shuffle through the dance floor to get to the bathroom. It's like, okay, I'm going to probably have to pee in like 40 minutes. I should probably get a fucking head start.
I should start
get to the bathroom. Yeah.
I mean, what if you were like me? I only have like 30, 45 seconds before I fucking go.
So you got to be like hanging out near the restrooms.
Usually. Yeah. Well, I like places like towards the back of like bars and restaurants anyways.
I've hung out with quads that just will whip it out right there and just cath. And I'm just like, bro, we can't hang out no more.
See, but like if I were to do that, there'd be a
crowd for one.
For one.
Yeah. For guys, they they'd be like, get the fuck out. Like,
goodbye.
Yeah. You're registered sex offender now. Get the fuck out.
There's a playground 199 feet away.
You would end up with like $50 in ones.
Hell yeah. I guess I found my new calling.
Please don't.
No, cripple stripping is not my thing. Yeah,
I've never seen a fucking ramp to a stripper stage.
Would you like to?
I've seen wheelchairs on there, though.
I'm thinking about it now that we're talking about it. This would just be really funny.
We've gone and done like a couple birthday parties or bachelor parties where we'll get, you know, the bouncers to throw the wheel, you know, the birthday boy up on stage, and he'll get himself a good little dance. But
that strip club I was telling you about in Atlanta that I went to, they were trying to get me to go up and do it.
Oh yeah.
I was not drunk enough for that.
Yeah, I was just in Atlanta, and you told me about that strip club, but I was catching up on a lot of sleep.
You were doing some dive-ins. And probably needed it.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw, but I posted a couple videos of me doing the Georgia Aquarium dive. It's on a separate playlist called Wacky Chan Adventures. Let's wrap this up. We're at like almost 2.5 hours.
Jeez.
6 o'clock, and I think Mom made a bunch of barbecue chicken and ribs.
I'm really excited. Your mom is one of my favorite cooks.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to shout out, or while we're signing off here?
Yeah, I got one more question for you, and then I'll tell you my answer after.
For me?
Yeah.
What's up?
So, everybody has a story for when people come up to them like real rude and they're like, fuck happened to you? Yeah. Like, so what's your story? You have one?
I got a couple different ones. You want to hear my tag team one that I do with Shock?
Yeah.
All right. So my buddy Shock, him and I lived in Vegas together, and we'd always go out, and there'd always be people that, you know, would come up and talk to us, and they would offer to like buy us a drink, be like, you guys are veterans, like, can I buy you guys a drink? And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Then they'll sit down, we'll start talking, and then they'll, you know, eventually just be like, so how did you guys get hurt? And Shock will tell them, and this is actually, his part of the story is true, and I always piggyback off of it. But he goes, oh yeah, I was coming home, you know, off base, and I got hit by a drunk driver. And they go, oh shit, man, that sucks. They're like, okay, so what happened to you? And then I'll just look at him in the eye and be like, I was the drunk driver.
Bruh.
And they go, what? Like, seriously? And I'm like, yeah. And like, you know, it's just like, you know, I was just fucking out drinking. Dumbass, got behind the wheel, hit this guy, and we ended up, you know, doing ICU together and doing our rehab together. Yeah. And we ended up becoming best friends. And I was the best man at his wedding. And,
dude, you're a fucking asshole.
And people will just be like, that's so fucking incredible. Like, that should be a movie.
That's so inspirational.
They're like, that should be a Lifetime movie. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah. Jesus. That is really fucking funny. So I got mine. I adopted it from another cripple, and I kind of made it my own. But like anytime somebody asks me what happens without asking my name first, that's when I use it. So I'll tell them I used to barrel race, and you know it's my favorite fucking sport. So I was riding with my horse one day with my favorite quarter horse. We're going and we're going and we're galloping, and he bucks me off, and my foot is caught in the fucking stirrup. And we're going. It's another like 8-9 minutes before the kid and his fucking asshole mom stop putting quarters in the machine.
Who'd you steal that from?
Mark Shepard.
All right.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mark Shepard.
Yeah. So anytime somebody asks what the fuck happened before they ask my name, that's what I tell them.
I got a new one for you that you can steal, and it was one that I actually would use for shock too, because going back to the Vegas thing, people would ask.
All the time.
And they would, I would always kind of just speak up for him because he's kind of a good looking dude. He's got he's got kind of like a good muscular build. Yeah. So they're always like, hey, how did he get hurt? And I'll be like, oh, dude, he grew up in Vegas, right? And they'll be like, no, I didn't know that. I'll be like, yeah. He used to be a Chippendale dancer, and he was doing the helicopter and fell off the stage and broke his neck. But you should totally be a stripper injury.
Oh my God.
Why haven't you thought of that?
I don't know, because I really don't want people to think of me as a stripper.
It could be like you fell off the stage, or
I was going up for my first strip and I grabbed on that slippery ass pole.
Yeah,
and down
I forgot to wipe down the pole, or like I just put lotion on my hands. And...
Oh God, the lady before me was like having an extra bad day. Ew.
Yeah, that should be the next one.
We're gonna think of this over dinner. We'll get Mom's input.
You should play with that one and see how many fucking heads you can turn.
Oh God.
Anyways, we're gonna wrap it up on that note. Hey, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. I had a great time.
This was a blast. Anyways, we'll catch y'all next time. Thanks for tuning in.